and the outside lane are both closed. Take extra care as you approach that. Oxfordshire, the A34 Southern Bypass Road, south from the Botley interchange towards South Hinksey. The inside lane's closed because of a broken down car. Congestion's back towards the Pear Tree interchange. And at Guildford, the A3 northbound at the Cathedral turn. The outside lane is closed with queuing traffic because of a two-vehicle accident. Congestion's back towards Puttenham. I'm Stuart Watt.
Good day to you. I've just popped in to suggest that you avail yourself of TalkSport 2's Tuesday night FA Cup 4th round replay football offering. It's none other than Her Majesty the Queen's Park Rangers versus Portsmouth, or Pompey as I believe they're colloquially known. Coverage from 6, kick-off 7:45 on TalkSport 2. Splendid. As you were.
Why are you laughing, Gordon?
You know what I say.
Do you know why you're laughing, even?
Yes, I do. Me and him know what I'm laughing. On you go. Speak to your caller.
Okay. Incidentally, as you may or may not know, Simon Jordan has been instrumental over the years in getting the Specials back together several times. That wonderful, wonderful band from the 80s. They've got a new album out. It's pretty good in places. It's very good in other places. And currently, their current single, which is called, Simon, remind me if you can remember.
Vote for Change.
It's called Vote for Change, and it's number 2 in the charts. We think if everyone listens to this show, just goes and downloads it. It's only, a few pence, isn't it, these days?
Absolutely.
You can, and try and download it legally so it'll all count. We can get the Specials back to number 1 3.5 decades after Ghost Town was number 1, which I would like very much indeed. So get stuck in there. You can go, you all know how to download music.
Well said, Dan.
Absolutely. The Specials coming number 1. What are you laughing at now?
I'm just thinking about the Ghost Town.
Yeah.
You should know this. Father Ted. Do you remember Father Ted?
Of course, it's the best thing ever, isn't it?
And when they only had one song to play,
and
was Ghost Town.
And better still, because Ireland is a new republic, you have to end every social event you're supposed to end with the playing of the national anthem. And so the only record he had for that as well was Ghost Town, and he played it again. They all stood to attention playing Ghost Town. But one thing, Gordon, that the label they were using, I was very surprised at Linehan and Company, the writers. That wasn't the proper label. That record he had wasn't Ghost Town. I was very upset about that.
Huh?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah.
Mr. Producer, you want me to crack on with something called the Callers? Okay, 08717 2233.
Is that another group?
That's another great, yeah. They could be number 1 after the Specials. 08717 223344. Is it possible to break into the top 6 anymore? And who will be the next team to do that? Martin's a Newcastle fan down there in Brighton. Hello, Martin.
Good evening, guys. How are you?
Really good. Lovely to talk to you. We don't always take calls. I just felt like it tonight. What do you want to say?
Why not? Yeah, so basically, I don't think that's the right question, because if you look at the top 6 at the minute, I think if you look at Man City, they're improving. Liverpool are improving. Tottenham are improving. Manchester United are improving. To an extent, Arsenal are improving, or they're changing. And I don't think it's who can break in. I think it's which one of those is going to fail. Mm-hmm. I think everyone else is pretty much where they should be. Leicester, Everton. I know the fans are all moaning that I don't like the way we're playing. I don't like this. But in all fairness, guys, you are where you should be. And the problem is now, like I said, you need to wait for Tottenham to fail or Arsenal to fail. Otherwise, I don't think you're going to see anyone really break into the top 6 for quite a while.
Well, but Martin, you're a Newcastle fan. What is it? I mean, quite apart from this ludicrous thing about half a century since winning a trophy, what is it that keeps you going then? Surely you must dream of a club that size.
It's football. When we have a great game, we really appreciate it. When we have a bad game, we kind of accept it. It's proper football. I don't think, and I've heard Man City fans say, they're not used to winning all the time. It's like they don't know what to do with themselves. And, I enjoy not knowing what we're going to do. But the Newcastle team at the minute, they usually do put in a good performance for the standard of players that we've got. I don't think we're going to break into the top 6. I'm a realist. I think, again, if we finish 10th, I'd be over the moon. I'm predicting 12th with the players that we've got. Maybe this new player will come along next season. I don't think he's a player for this season. I think he needs the Almerian. I think he needs to strengthen up a bit and learn the Premier League. I'd be more than happy.
Thank you very much indeed, Martin. Martin thinks it's not a question of Wolves, Watford, Everton, Bournemouth, Leicester, West Ham, I don't know, Palace, Newcastle, Southampton, learning and winning. It's about one of their top 6 suddenly falling out of their place. Let's get another call on. Scott is a West Ham fan. Hello, Scott.
Good evening, Danny, Simon and Gordon. You're right.
Thank you very much indeed for joining us on a much better phone line than our previous caller. What did you want to say?
I'm a West Ham fan, as you just said. I think West Ham have been remarkably unlucky with injuries this year, and we have done for many years. And I think with the squad we've got, we would probably be the teams that could potentially break into there. I think Wolves have played out their skins. I think they've been fantastic. But I just wanted to throw something to Gordon and Simon. Our injury record is absolutely shocking. Yes, Lanzini got injured whilst away with Argentina. But is that potentially because he's gone from a different training ground that West Ham have got in Rush Green? Because we have got, our injury list has always been bad. Always been bad. Now, could that be West Ham have got a free stadium? You know, why are we not invested in going out and buying and building a much better training facility that could potentially prevent these injuries that are going on?
Gordon, do you think now some clubs are more likely to get injuries than others depending on their facilities or their staff?
Well, here's one that you might... I knew a couple of players that went to Manchester United from middle table clubs who had no real pressure, and somehow they started getting injuries at Manchester United, and I put it down to nervousness and tension in their body.
Yeah, not relaxed.
Not relaxed. And then another thing they did as well, to endear themselves to the crowd or play better, they threw themselves into tackles. They got silly injuries. Other players got stress related injuries, other players got muscle pulls, and I think it had a lot to do with playing at a higher level and finding the stress. So sometimes it's stress that affects. It's not just down to the training. I think there's a stress factor that comes to playing with top clubs, and expectation where you've been at clubs where there's no expectation. West Ham, you know, might be in the middle league, but it's one club everybody talks about. West Ham. So when you go there, you go from having a quite pleasant life in different parts of the world and going to the West Ham, and you're under the scrutiny.
Massive stadium, middle of London, all that.
Then you start, you might be trying too hard, jumping into tackles, stressing yourself, and when you're nervous, you do get a problem with injuries.
2 questions for you then, Simon. Can you, can the club leadership help with this thing of injuries, and do West Ham not help themselves by bringing in people like Andy Carroll, who are known to be walking wounded?
Jack Wilshere.
Very good.
Well, that recruitment's right.
Where's he gone?
When you're recruiting players, you've got to look how many games. That's what Alex was always saying. How many games has he played for the last 3 years?
Yeah.
Of course, there has to be a cohesive policy about how you buy players and what you acquire them. Soft muscle injuries and so things like that are bad preparation and bad coordination behind the scenes. Collision instances.
That's a different thing. You've got to play the game.
Completely different dynamic. And looking at the top 6, which was the point that we're making at the beginning of this, I was just looking at the fact that Aston Villa finished 6th, 9th, 10th, and season 2011. Newcastle finished 5th in 11-12, and Everton finished 6th in 12-13.
So it can be done.
So it can be done.
Yeah.
It's not beyond the pale of opportunity. It's just a case of getting a cohesive unit and a very good owner and a very good manager who then recruit the right players.
But getting to 6th, 7th, is that good enough? Because how do you get there? You know, because you're going to the Europa League. Now, that has been... that's the downfall of a lot of managers and a lot of players who get to Europa League.
Look at the effect it seems to have had on Burnley this year.
Stoke were the same because they couldn't put in the preparation they normally put in against the big sides. They were playing on a Thursday, getting back, having one training session, having to play. Normally Stoke and Burnley were having a whole week to prepare against their Manchester City's, Man City, do everything they could. But what they're doing now was just getting up, playing a game and going again. That it's unusual for these coaches and players. And also, do you really want to get... we talk about 6th or 7th. Do you really want to get there? Do you really want to spend a fortune to get there and you go into the Europa League? It's different if we say, OK, let's get into the top 4. That's the Champions League.
But isn't it building blocks, Strax, though? It's building blocks, because ultimately a building's built on a solid foundation. If you get into the top 6, what's to stop you from getting into the top 4? Because ultimately you've built this...
I'll tell you, because if you can make the leap straight into the top 4 and get the Champions League, it's less likely that the other teams will come and buy Ruben Neves's and all the rest of it. There's the danger of finishing 6th and 7th, and even
if you're doing well with your team, and that's what happens today, people will buy your players because they've proved themselves, probably playing against the top sides. Your Man City's.
Look at young Brooks at Bournemouth. He's had one half a good season, and people are talking about him 50 million footballer. And the only people who are going to pay £50 million for a 23-year-old Welsh footballer.
Is there not a flip side to this?
It's Champions League team.
If we're saying that being part of the elite means being inside the top 6, and being inside the top 6 or being 6th gives an opportunity to play in the Europa League, is there not a better way to restructure the Europa League so it's more prestigious, there's more dough attached to it, and actually more opportunity to play more games?
Save that thought and come back to it. We'll talk about whether it would be better for football. Of course it would, if there was more movement in our league, and we'll come back to talk about that. Maybe it's not about teams having to find a way to break in the top 6. Maybe it's about making our league more likely to be more fluid. You're listening to Kick-Off. Simon Jordan has been nominated as Sports Pundit of the Year, and from what I've heard in the last half an hour, it's astonishing that Gordon Strachan hasn't been as well.
Game-changing moments from Barclays on Talk Sport.
Hi, I'm Laura Woods, and my game-changing moment in the Premier League was when Pep Guardiola joined Manchester City in the 2016 and 2017 season. His attention to detail, his high intensity, and the way that he coaches that team turned them into such a dominant force, breaking records left, right and centre in the most competitive league in the world.
2-1! Sergio Aguero with 2 goals in 2 minutes!
And other teams, I think, now look at Man City as a blueprint of how to win the league. So Pep Guardiola joining Manchester City is my game-changing moment.
Pep Guardiola has his way of playing. He has his way of deploying players to do what he wants, and City carried that out just about to perfection.
Game-changing moments from Barclays on Talk Sport.
Across the face of goal, and that is number 3. Superbly done. Raheem Sterling has his second of the afternoon.
Game-changing moments on Talk Sport with Barclays, celebrating the truly game-changing moments of the Premier League.
Can you still get the quality van you really want with a Van Monster deal that gives you even more? Oh yes.
What's that coming over the hill, Van Monster?
You can still get a 2016 Transit Custom from only £266 a month with a free 6-month warranty. And we've extended our offer of 7 nights free accommodation at a choice of Spanish resorts. But it's February only, so see vanmonster.com. Conditions apply. Deposit payable. Offers to business users only.
What will happen when the UK leaves the EU? Do I need to renew my passport earlier than planned?
I'm an EU citizen living in the UK. How will this affect me?
Will mobile roaming change? How will exporting my goods be affected?
You might also have questions about how leaving the EU on the 29th of March will affect you. Find guidance and up-to-date information at gov.uk/EU exit.
Did you know that there are 122 languages in India? Or that in Singapore you can visit the world's first night zoo? And that you'll find more bicycles in Beijing than in Amsterdam? But here's the most amazing thing to know. With Lufthansa's attractive fares, you can fly to Asia from £399, subject to availability. Book by February 10th for travel starting from February 11th. Contact your travel agent or visit lufthansa.com. Conditions apply.
Say yes to the world. Lufthansa.
With Direct Line, loyalty is rewarded. Tradesmen get 10% off their van insurance if they already have tradesman cover. Minimum premiums apply. Introductory discount. Underwritten by UK Insurance Limited.
In the trade, sign up to Wix Trade Pro and get 10% off every time you shop with no minimum spend. Download the app to register. Always cheaper with Wix Trade Pro. Terms apply.
Stay ahead of the game on Talk Sport with the Now TV Sky Sports Day Pass. Watch West Ham versus Liverpool tonight for a one-off payment of just $7.99. Search Now TV 18+. Stream via internet. Terms apply.
We'll come back to the pros and cons, the difficulties and all the rest of it, and the desirability of teams being able to break into what, at the moment, looks like a cartel in English football. Gordon was making the point off air that it's the same in other countries as well, but there are examples of teams doing it there as well. But before, though, we must remember tonight, the big game, it can affect the top and the middle of the Premier League very much indeed. West Ham against Liverpool. Why don't we look ahead to tonight's Premier League action with Now TV? Great, absolutely great. I'm really looking forward to this match. You can tell me, as a West Ham fan, as well as a well-respected pundit, I don't trust West Ham. They could win this game 2-0, or they could lose 5-0.
Absolutely. I mean, West Ham are the archetypal Jekyll and Hyde team. You know, I offer you the game here against Chelsea, when Chelsea had, I think, won every game when they arrived here and drew 0-0. West Ham beat Arsenal here 1-0. They beat Man United 3-1. They lost to 4-0 to Man City, but created a load of chances that day. Could have easily got 2 or 3 on the board, and very unlucky not to draw the game. They lost 1-0 with Spurs, yet they've put in some right stinkers here. I mean, you know, they lost early doors to Bournemouth, early doors to Wolves, and I think that when you look at it, you know, West Ham players owe their fans, Danny, for the last couple of weeks. I mean, the game at Bournemouth, you could kind of forgive that, I suppose, because they may have had the FA Cup on their minds. There is no excuse for what happened at Kings Meadow, when they were absolutely thrashed by a team who are going to be probably playing League 2 football next season. And then, you know, the performance putting on Molineux was absolutely abysmal.
Moose, it's Gordon.
Hi, Gordon.
How you doing, big man? When you're talking about players here at Wimbledon, do you ever think about taking the manager and coaches into consideration for that performance, or is it just down to players?
Well, I don't know Pellegrini Gordon as well as I know other managers, but from what I do know of him this season, I think he's got a real kind of, like, you know, an attitude and a mentality of wanting this team to act and be like a big team. That's what a couple of the players have certainly told me. So therefore, I think I'm going to exclude the manager from too much negative sort of thoughts from that one. From all, I mean, I wasn't at the game, but from speaking to people who were, West Ham went out with a kind of lackadaisical attitude in the warm-up, you know, with gloves and hats on and snoods and goodness knows what. It's cold, but you know what? Football's a winter sport. Get over the fact it's cold. And it, you know, they were 3-0 down after 3 players had been subbed at half-time. And only then did they try really to get back in the game.
Well, what I'm saying is, and just I've been a player and a manager, and I know fine well that as a manager, on one occasion, I told the boys last week, well, my mind wasn't fully committed to a cup tie. I was with Southampton at the time. We got beat at Rotherham, and I'm sure, because I was so worried about the league, that my body language, I'm sure, got through to the players. You know, so I'm just saying that sometimes managers' body language, and I've managed with the best. Well, I've had the best managers in the world, and sometimes I can sniff it when they're not at their maximum.
But
I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm not saying listen, I'm not saying. I'm just throwing another angle into it where you just don't.
I get where you're coming from. The one thing that is annoying me more and more, and it's annoying me more and more this season than any other, because of the fact that there are only 3 of the top 6 and only 7 Premier League teams left in the FA Cup, is this kind of attitude of, oh, you know, places in the Premier League are much more important than winning trophies. I mean, I was down at Brighton today. They play in a replay at West Brom on Wednesday. They get through that, they're at home to Derby. Great chance of getting into the quarterfinals, and you don't know whether Man United and Man City might draw each other to take them out, one of those out the equation. And still firmly, I got the impression coming away from Brighton's training ground today that they're a little bit worried about being dragged into a relegation zone, and they'd rather finish in 11th place and in 15th or 16th. You know what? Fans don't care whether there's £2 million extra per place in the Premier League. But yeah, I think that's what, you know, West Ham aren't going down, and West Ham aren't finishing in the top 6. I honestly couldn't give a monkeys if they finished 15th and won the FA Cup. I'd rather they did that than finish 7th and limply went out at Wimbledon.
And Moose, there is another team playing tonight, and if West Ham are the great enigma, I think, of the Premier League, you never know what you're going to get. So far this season, you've got plenty from Liverpool. They start fast. They take these games out sometimes in the first 45 minutes.
They are well capable of doing that, and the team they put out tonight, I mean, you know, a front three of Salah, Mane and Firmino, you know, absolutely astonishing team. I mean, the one thing that really sort of I'm still struggling to get to terms with, they've lost just 1 game so far this season in the Premier League, and you know, I look at it, I think to myself, you know, if West Ham could win this one tonight, it gives hope to Man City of getting above Liverpool on Wednesday, albeit they'll play the game more. It gives hope to your team, Danny, of Spurs. What it gives everybody is it gives everybody a chance for this title race, be it between 2 or be it between 3, whatever you believe, of going much further down the road because Spurs have still got away games to come at Liverpool and at City, and you know, as a neutral, because I am when it comes to the title race, West Ham are never going to figure in it. As a neutral, I would love to go into the last day of the season again with the title up for grabs, the last 10 minutes of the season again, 5 minutes with the title up for grabs. And you know, I just feel if Liverpool win tonight and put that gap back to 5, you know, they're always just going to have City at arm's length and have that one game where they can put in a stinker but still be okay because they've built that gap up. So I think for the neutral tonight, I think, you know, if Liverpool do slip up, but it's hard to see them doing it. I mean, they've got one of the best keepers in the world in Van Dijk. I mean, you know, he's an absolutely exceptional centre half, probably the best in world football right now. And as I say, they've got that front three which are absolutely phenomenal. So it's going to be really hard for West Ham.
Thank you very much indeed, Simon. You've been around the game long enough not to write West Ham off tonight.
No. I mean, I think this is a very interesting time because I felt last week when Liverpool played Leicester, if they'd have won that game, I think it would have sent out such a resounding message. The fact they didn't makes me feel that nerves are going to play a part in Liverpool, and I think these are the kind of games that can really change the dynamics of this particular title run. And you know, West Ham played Liverpool at the beginning of the season. They looked dreadful. Right, and they were completely outplayed. Anderson, I looked at him and thought, what they bloody bought here?
40 million, yeah.
Now,
playing well now.
Oh, yeah, they made West Ham were all over the place. You know,
they were stepping up against the ball with no place.
Exactly what I was going to say.
Yeah. Let's run out, lads. Oh, but the ball's coming this way. Yeah,
I got a feeling about this game.
That was coaching taken literally, without actually thinking about it seriously. That was right. We'll press up. To the edge of the box, but you cannot do that if there's no pressure.
Ignoring the circumstances.
As I said at the time, from Hackney Marshes to the Maracana, if you press out and you don't press the ball holder, you will get beaten. That's just the rule of it. Listen, don't forget you can watch West Ham versus Liverpool live tonight with an Now TV Sky Sports Day Pass for a one-off payment of just £7.99.
Stay ahead of the game on Talk Sport with the Now TV Sky Sports Day Pass. Watch West Ham versus Liverpool tonight for a one-off payment of just $7.99. Search Now TV 18+. Stream via internet. Terms apply.
The work van. Functional, trusted, vital. But what about advanced, desirable, distinctive? Introducing the all-new Peugeot Partner with innovative surround rear vision and the acclaimed Peugeot iCockpit teamed up with a payload of up to a ton and room for 2 Euro pallets. It's more than a work van, it's a partner. Voted What Van LCV of the Year and International Van of the Year 2019. Master the impossible. Experience all new Partner and drive it for yourself at your local Peugeot dealer. Discover more at business.peugeot.co.uk.
Most radio adverts begin in a pristine recording studio, but not this one. We're recording on the streets of central London, polluted by toxic air. Because there's no better place to tell you that the Central London ultra-low emission zone is coming on the 8th of April this year. It will apply 24 hours a day, every day of the year in the same area as the congestion charge zone. Unless your lorry, bus, coach or specialist vehicle meets the new stricter emission standards, you will have to pay the £100 daily charge. Search ULEZ to check your vehicle and see if you need to pay. To the Mayor of London and TfL, every journey matters.
Mains power means a mains cord. It's a challenge every tradesman faces, but not anymore. Because this is DeWalt XR FlexVolt technology. The 54-volt cordless power tool range arms you with the power of corded from a battery. No cord to hold you back. Compatible with existing 18-volt XR tools and chargers. The power of corded, the freedom of cordless. Buy any DeWalt XR FlexVolt kit and register at My DeWalt to get a free XR FlexVolt battery. Conditions apply.
James DeGale versus Chris Eubank Jr.
I'm going to grind him down. I'm going to dominate him.
A storm is coming. James DeGale versus Chris Eubank Jr. Live at the O2 London, Saturday 23rd of February.
10 times the fighter Eubank is.
To buy tickets, go to AXS.com or for VIP hospitality, visit sportandmusic.co.uk.
I'm bringing the heat, as I always do.
James DeGale versus Chris Eubank Jr. Live at the O2 London.
Buying a new car can be a haunting experience. Is there enough room for the little monsters? Will it be devilishly expensive to run? Will I be haunted by the price? Well, from only $9,995, the all-new Dacia Duster gives you the freedom to get what you want with none of the ghoulies. And now you can buy it online at buy.dacia.co.uk. Dacia, you do the maths. Recommended retail price.
Rapid-fire football debate, decisive opinions, explosive analysis.
Header into the back of the net.
Kick-off on Talk Sport.
On the Ball on Talk Sport with Bet365, the world's favourite online betting company. 18 plus, begambleaware.org.
So big good evening to Steve Freeth. Hi, Steve.
Danny, good evening to you.
Listen, thank you very much indeed for joining us. Obviously, I'm really looking forward to this game tonight. West Ham against Liverpool. I think it'll be a good game, but no doubt Liverpool are very short odds.
Yeah, and there's quite a bit of money for them since the teams have come out, Danny, as well. And West Ham are 17-2.
At home?
Yeah, for a win to put them in the top half of the division. I know they're not in the greatest form at the moment, are they? They've lost 3 on the bench since.
So the money's come, I presume, because of the lack of a Arnautovic.
Yeah, of course, Arnie is key. Obviously, I've seen a lot of him up here in Stoke as well, and 2 Premier League games without scoring as well for the Hammers. And, of course, that game against Wimbledon where they scored 4, and Liverpool have managed to score 4 in their last 4 games against them. So if you fancy a correct score tonight, then Liverpool to win 4-0 is 14-1, and it's 18-1 for 4-1 to the visitors, and Liverpool are 11-4 to score 4 goals or more. If you fancy Liverpool to win and both teams to score, because that defence has conceded 4 goals in the last 2 games, Danny, hasn't it? That Liverpool defence, it's 7-4 for that to happen this evening.
And with Arnautovic not playing for West Ham, I guess the market for the first goal scorer is on the move as well.
Yeah, of course, yeah. I mean, from the West Ham point of view, of course, obviously Felipe Anderson, I think, is top goal scorer with them with 8 Premier League goals this season. He's 14-1 to get the first goal and 4-1 to score at any time. And how about a big price for the match winner against the Arsenal game was Rice, of course. He's 18-1 to score at any time. But if you fancy the Liverpool players, of course, Mo Salah favourite, as you'd expect, at 11-4. Sadio Mane, who's not in bad form, actually. He got 2 in that 4-0 win against West Ham on the opening day, and he scored in his last 2 games as well. He's 9-2 to get the first goal, and Firmino is the same price to do exactly that, 9-2 to break the deadlock.
And Steve, you'd be surprised to hear this, I suppose, given the way we tend to talk about these things. But as it stands right now, before the kick-off, 4 points cover the top 3 teams in the division. What are the odds to win the Premier League?
You're still cheering for your boys, aren't you? You know, they're 150-1 a couple of weeks ago, Dan Spurs. I mean, it's still a 2-horse race. You know, the bookmakers think 8-13 Liverpool. With Manchester City, who have been as short as 1-5 during the season, they are second favourites at 11-8. Spurs at 25-1, 500-1 bar.
Yeah, but I think people might take into account that Spurs still have to go to the grounds of the other top 4: Liverpool, Manchester City, and Chelsea. And finally, who's going to be the Premier League's top scorer this season?
Well, considering he was a one-season wonder for a lot of people, that Mo Salah's done all right this season as well, hasn't he?
He's picked up, hasn't he?
He's even money to take the crown yet again. With Sergio Aguero, of course, the big mover after yesterday's treble, he's into 3-1. And Aubameyang, I think, is incredible. He's third favourite, Danny, at 130. His conversion rate is first class. 15 Premier League goals from 56 shots. That's just under 27% conversion rate. Very good indeed. He's third favourite in what looks like a 3-horse race with an injury to Harry Kane, who's 14-1, by the way.
Listen, thank you very much indeed. That's Steve Freeth, our good friend from Bet365.
On the Ball on Talk Sport with Bet365, the world's favourite online betting company. 18 plus, begambleaware.org.
Yeah, the thing we've been talking about in this first hour, what it would take to break into the top 6, and I'm going to come back to that. I'll get Simon's view on is there anything we could do to make the league more attractively mobile. Socially mobile is the phrase people use. But at the moment, we've got a poll up, and I'll give you the Twitter addresses in just a second. And it's who is most likely to break into the top 6? Not saying they're going to do it, but most likely. The 3 teams we put up are Everton, Wolverhampton Wanderers, who would have even said that 2 years ago. I mean, this is why it's so fluid, isn't it? Yeah. And that way, West Ham United or other. And you can always reply with who the other might be. You can go and vote on that at TalkSportKO, at Danny Kelly Words, or at SJ Opinion 10. SJ Opinion 10. All 3 of us, myself, Simon, and the programme, have tweeted out the poll. Let's get your views on that. Everton, Wolves, West Ham, or other likely to break in. Simon, you've had 10 minutes to think about it. First of all, let's start with the obvious thing. It would be a more attractive product if the same 6 teams didn't dominate the proceedings. Is that fair to say for the television viewer? Gordon, you're already making that face that you make.
It's just getting older. It's like this most of the time now, to be honest with you.
You're defying the years very well, but why did you make that to wasp chewing a bulldog face?
Because I think the games are fantastic. It doesn't matter who's playing. You get different. You can't say that because West Ham get in there, you want to see West Ham or Everton. The product we've got right now is fantastic. We've got some of the best players in the world, the best stadiums, the best sports television rights going on in terms of promoting the games. I just think it's wonderful. So we don't need to force somebody. If they get there, wonderful.
All right,
we'll enjoy that.
Well, I hear you, and I have nothing but respect for your view, and I'm going to come back to you. I have to. I'm going to go to you and say, let's just take the 30,000 people who go to that rickety old ground in Selhurst. To Selhurst Park to watch
26,514 to be precise.
I think sometimes you used to squeeze in a few more, Simon, and not announce them, to be honest. About 30,000.
The chairman's turnstile.
Yeah.
As it was known.
Oh, yeah.
Palace's fans are devoted. Yep. They shake that ground when they're doing well. In fact, they shake that ground when they're not doing well.
Yep.
Brilliant place to go.
Yeah, absolutely.
But what are Crystal... If they can't dream of making that leap forward to challenge the Tottenhams and the Manchester Cities... What are they? Just cannon fodder for the top six, Simon?
It's balance, though, Dan, isn't it? It's balance. It's about being reasonable in your expectations. I think, my view on Palace, if we're talking about Palace, is I think...
I took them as an example.
We'll pick them as an example because it's salient and specifically relational to me. I think the American owners have had huge ambitions, and at one particular point, when Palace... looking towards the top 10 and stabilising in the top 10 with Pardew in the first season, or the second season, I think there was huge aspirations to go knocking up the league. Alone in that, and Big Six clubs, so-called Big Six clubs, the Premier League chief executive Richard Scudamore into giving more money to them from the European payments. Look, the nature of ambition is that you keep on looking forward and you keep on looking to evolve. You have to be realistic about your evolvement. But as I said a moment ago, if you look at some of the sides that have finished in and around the top echelons of this league, Fulham were there 6, 7, 8 years ago, finished 7th in the league. Aston Villa, which is a monolithic football club in size, now languishing in the Championship, was there and thereabouts. It was money that drove them there. It will always be money that drove them there.
And is it their failure to break into that top six or to maintain their place in that top six that's led them to being the mess they are now?
Yeah, there's casualties from overspending.
Leeds United are the biggest
casualties, Danny, from overspending.
But that's bad management, Strax. That's just, you can spend properly.
I think if most clubs have a budget, if you want to try and get budget for being 10th or 7th. I mean, Southampton used to be a budget for getting relegated, believe it or not. And that's what we're saying.
Yeah.
So if you budget for that, and if you do get up there through magnificent coaching and players playing at the best, wonderful. And I don't think the atmosphere at Crystal Palace will make any difference if they're 9th, 10th, 12th, 7th, I think, or 6th. I don't think it make any difference because they love going along there and they're still seeing the top side and they're still competing against the top sides. Eventually it breaks down because they've not got the best defenders in the world, Gale Galloway, or they can't score enough goals. But the atmosphere at these grounds, because of the top 6, it's a top 6 now. It's not like a top 2. Everywhere these clubs go now, it comes alive at Fulham. It comes alive at Wolves because of the professionalism and the ability of these top sides.
I think, Strax, there is a and then what scenario in most clubs because I think everybody.
Listen, we're not taking the dream away. Let's get it right. Everybody should dream of getting there.
Yeah, look at Burnley, and what we're talking about is the flip side of being in the top 6. What you alluded to was at the top 6. Well, what's that about? What's being sick? They get into the Europa League, the team sucks the following season, and next thing you know, you're looking at relegation for a passage of time. I think there's also got to be some thinking about the benefits and bonuses of competing in the top 6 and playing in the Europa League, because that Europa League seems to be, a poison chalice.
And it makes it worse again next year with this Europa League too. They had 3 really good competitions. I don't want to be an old man about this. They had the Champions League, the Cup Winners' Cup, and the UEFA Cup, all of which people played their hearts out to win. You've won one of them.
But it's a different ball game now. The Champions League and Premier League has gobbled these competitions.
They have.
Yes. Gobbled them up because of the quality you're now seeing. You're getting the quality in the Champions League and the Premier League of the top players. You only used to see that in World Cups on your TV. That's where you see them. You've seen good sides, the Liverpool sides, not as fast. But now there's magnificent players who have made this the viewing far better than it was 30 odd years ago. It has gobbled up every bit of competition.
So to finish my point then, and to get an answer from you, and this is not to disrespect Crystal Palace fans,
no,
they have to settle, do they, for being lucky enough to be in the Premier League and see these great players once a year down there in Croydon?
No, I don't think so. I think you have to. I think you have to have aspirations of evolving, but I think you've also got to keep it real. You've got to be realistic about
we're keeping it real. About time.
You know, you've got to keep it realistic about what you can and can't achieve. Whether you can win an FA Cup, whether you can win a League Cup, whether you can get to the top 6. And Gordon is right. The material, and so was Ian Abrahams, to be honest with you. Going for the top 6 and getting maybe an extra 10 million in money rather than having a decent cup run and really putting the town. And I know what it did for the support base, and I know what it meant, because it's, dare to dream mentality. But I think that this Premier League is going to go through another step of evolving over the next 2 or 3 years. It's got
They've done that by good management, I think. Atletico Madrid have broken up a little bit the cartel in Spain. Mind you, they can pay £70 million for Thomas Lemar, so they're not short of a bob or two either. We'll talk about this more in other shows about how this could be done. You're listening to Kick Off here on Talk Sport with Simon Jordan, Gordon Strachan and me, Danny Kelly. The players are out on the pitch at the London Stadium doing the most ludicrous thing players ever have to do. The second most ludicrous thing is football is referees warming up. The first most ludicrous thing is the players shaking hands before the football match. For God's sake, stop this nonsense. We'll be back in a few minutes' time.
What makes a Vanarama van make your business look the business? What about not needing a big deposit? What about how affordable it is? You can get a brand new Ford Transit for just £198 a month. What a price. What a mighty good price.
Business users initial rental £2,000 plus 20% VAT, 60 months, admin fee £165 plus 20% VAT. Conditions apply, limited stock availability.
Go to Vanarama.com and lease a Vanarama van.
It's Stuart Francis's farewell tour.
I used to be a motorcycle courier. Those things are heavy.
He's been on Mock the Week and live at the Apollo. Now he's heading off into the pun set.
My therapist says I have a preoccupation with vengeance. We'll see about that.
New dates added due to overwhelming greed.
I saw a documentary on how ships are held together. Riveting.
Tickets available at livenation.co.uk. When the puns stop, stop.
Is a service set up by the government to provide free, impartial guidance about your pension pot. If you're over 50, call 0800 144 8944 to book your free telephone or face-to-face appointment. Pension-wise, get to know your options.
All alone at the back post, keeper's nowhere, surely? No! It was an absolute sitter and he's put it wide.
Some opportunities you can't miss, like a chance to try your bet with ComeOn.com. Build your own same-game multi-bet with cards, corners, scorers, scorelines and more.
Use your head!
ComeOn.com. Bet £10, get a £10 free bet. 18 plus. BeGambleAware.org. Bet responsibly at ComeOn.com. New UK mainland customers only. Minimum £10 bet on odds of 1.8 or more qualifies for £10 free bet. Terms apply.
In the trade, at Wix, we'll deliver all of your big and bulky items to you when you need it, wherever you need it. Plus, now you can save 10% on all orders when you become a Wix Trade Pro member. Simply download the Wix Trade Pro app or visit your local Wix store today to register. Always cheaper with Wix Trade Pro. Terms apply.
He's only been on the pitch for a second. What a performance from the substitute. Every great team needs a super sub, someone ready to slot in when they're needed. That's why if your van is off the road needing warranty work of more than 3 hours, we'll arrange a courtesy van to keep your business moving. Your very own super sub. Get your team back on track. Renault Pro Plus, now with 0% hire purchase finance. Business users only. Renault Finance hire purchase subject to status. Orders by 31st of March. Registrations by 30th of June. T's and C's apply. Visit Renault.co.uk/commitment.
Online and on TV at Freeview Channel 723. This is Talk Sport.
Yeah, they're off and running at West Ham. We'll keep you across everything that happens there. And then in the sports bar tonight from 10 o'clock with Andy and Jason, you can get the best and first reaction to that big game in the Premier League. We've got plenty to talk about in the next hour of the programme, including what were all those British faces and coaches doing at the Super Bowl last night. How did I get injured watching the world's biggest sporting event? All of that after we've had the news sport headlines. They come from Carl Hartley.
Thanks, Danny. Jobs blow for Sunderland and West Ham take on Liverpool, or is it Arsenal?
Talk Sport.
The Business Secretary has confirmed that 741 jobs now won't be created in Sunderland. It's after Nissan say it won't now manufacture its X-Trail model there. Business Secretary Greg Clark told MPs it means the car maker will now need to reapply for almost £60 million of funding.
Given yesterday's announcement, if the company seeks to participate in these industry funding schemes, as I hope and expect that it will, the company will submit new applications in the standard way and undergo a process of independent assessment.
The man who found missing footballer Emiliano Sala's plane has told TalkSport he's worried the authorities may choose to leave it on the seabed. The light aircraft has been found in the English Channel 2 weeks after it vanished. David Means, who's been leading the search, says he's in regular contact with the footballer's family.
Each day they're being hit with huge, momentous information, which probably makes the previous day even worse. You know, we're just here to try and support them.
The parents of a student missing from Hull have made an emotional appeal for her to get in touch as police piece together her movements. They say Libby Squire went home after a night out on Thursday but then headed back into the city. Liam Neeson is facing accusations of racism after he admitted walking the streets looking for a black man to kill after a friend was raped. The 66-year-old actor says the episode lasted for about a week and involved him heading out with a type of baton. And it's emerged Jamie Oliver has had meetings with bosses at McDonald's as an informal advisor. That's despite the chef criticising the fast food chain for several years.
Talk Sport weather with QuickFit. Not sure when your MOT is due? Just text your reg to 83333 and we'll reply straight away to remind you. Another reason to drive away happy. Standard network rates apply.
Fog and frost likely tonight. Tomorrow will start off dry and bright in the morning across the north, but it'll gradually turn wet and windy.
Talk Sport. Sports update.
Liverpool can get some distance again between them and second place City with a win against West Ham tonight. It's early stages at the London Stadium. Watching for Talk Sport is Ian Abraham.
Played 3.5 minutes. West Ham 0, Liverpool 0. On paper, a formality for the leaders tonight, but not in practice so far. First chance to West Ham came a minute ago. Cresswell down the left-hand side. Little ball in for now Hernandez. A 1-2 on the edge of the area, and his shot from 12 yards out was only a smidge wide of Alisson's left-hand post. A warning already to Jurgen Klopp's team. 3.5 gone here. West Ham 0, Liverpool 0.
West Ham fans will be hoping the players do a little better than the programme writers. In tonight's edition, Manuel Pellegrini welcomes Arsenal and their manager Unai Emery to the London Stadium. Now, Uno Espirito Santo isn't getting carried away with Wolves' Premier League position. His side are up to 7th after winning 3 in a row, but Nuno says he's just continuing to take one game at a time.
These are times that we are doing okay, but we know that success doesn't last long unless you work for it. To maintain, to sustain the performances and achieve consistency is one of the hardest things to do in football, and we are really trying to aim for that.
Now, TalkSport 2 has been telling us Harry Kane could be back for Spurs' Champions League game with Borussia Dortmund next week. The striker has been sidelined with an ankle ligament damage and was ruled out until March. And Fraser Brown and Murray McCallum have been added to Scotland's Six Nations game with Ireland. The front row pair replace Willem Nell and Sam Skinner, who are injured. There's more sport over on our website, talksport.com.
On digital radio and 1089 and 1053 AM.
It's a brilliant goal!
It's the unstoppable Monday night football throwdown.
Oh my word!
Looking back at all the weekend's action.
Brilliant goal!
Kick off on Talk Sport.
I just love the way the best laid plans, as they say, of mice and men. The London Stadium is huge. The crowd are there. The Premier League is in action. The cameras are bearing down the pitch, and the linesman's flag isn't working. So they had to bring on a reserve flag there, which I absolutely love. Welcome back to the second hour of 3 of tonight's edition of Kickoff. I'm Danny Kelly. Alongside me, already, well, let's be honest, quite confident enough of his own abilities, but now nominated for Sports Pundit of the Year, Simon Jordan. I hope you win, Simon. I really do.
Thank you, mate.
I do. Gordon Strachan's here as well. One of our leading coaches, ex-player, of course, as well. I can't
say something.
I wasn't going to say anything nasty. No,
sorry, carry on. I was going back to the flag not working.
Yeah.
Is that not powered by somebody's arm?
There's a button on it for getting attention of the referee. It bleeps, doesn't it, in his ear now? Yeah,
I know.
You know, yeah. They obviously didn't work, and so they had to bring on a reserve. Listen, last night, whether you like it or not, the fact is, it's the biggest single sporting event in the world. One-off match worth billions. The television rights, $5 million for a 30-second slot on the Super Bowl. I stayed up for 3.5 hours into 3:30 in the morning watching it. We're going to play you the highlights, but it could almost be sued under the trade description, Zach. These are the highlights.
The hold is good. The kick is no good, and that will do it. The Patriots will get the ball back with 5 seconds on the clock. Greg Zuerlein's miss. The big man misses his big moment, and the New England Patriots, with a 10-point lead, with only 5 seconds left in the fourth, are going to be world champions and take Super Bowl 53.
We're Super Bowl champs, man. There's no pain in my body, man. This is one of the best feelings in the world besides getting married and having kids. You know, we work so hard for this, and, you know, we don't have time for pain, man. We don't have time for it.
Yeah, well, you heard the highlights there. They lasted all of 10 seconds. That last voice you heard was James Devlin, the fullback for the New England Patriots. It was an amazing game, historic in many ways, the lowest points total ever in a Super Bowl, the lowest points total after the first quarter, the second quarter, the third quarter. It was still 3-0 late into the game, which is in soccer terms, in football terms, the equivalent of being sort of 0-0 without a shot at goal in the course of the first 3 quarters of what is a enormous sports event. The NFL, Simon, of course, will be mortified. They have kept tinkering with the rules to make it more and more televisual. We have seen games this season with 100 points in them. They have turned the sport into a carnival of scoring. But at the heart of all this is a man called Bill Belichick, the 6-time Super Bowl winning coach of the New England Patriots. He is like a mad gnome on the side of the pitch, wearing not one but 2 hoods. Don't look at him as soon as I say the word gnome. That's not fair. And
by the way, he nearly cracked his neck as well. The 2 years would have had sore necks.
And last night, Belichick devised a game plan that put the opponents, the LA Rams, to sleep, put the television audience to sleep, and I think did the game damage. I've got to be honest, because I've spent 20 years trying to convince people what a great game is. Anyone who stayed up and watched this, I was thinking about my nephew Danny. He loves rugby, he loves American football. He's 11. He wanted to come and watch the game with me. It wasn't appropriate because he lives in Dublin this time round. Staying up last night, his mum, my sister, said he's going to stay up and watch the game. What he made of this as the game went on and on and on. At the end, the secret was let out by Tom Brady, now the greatest player in the world. He's overtaken Charles Haley with his 6 Super Bowls. And he screamed into the camera, "I wish we could have played better on offence, but we won, baby." And there we have it. And this takes us once again, I'm going to ask you from the point of view of these organisations that have to sell television rights, and ask you, Gordon, as someone who loves the game of football, we're back to the argument here. Belichick was delighted with the team's performance, but it was ugly. They had one ugly. First of all, from the point of view of trying to sell rights, Simon, does it matter what the football in the Premier League or any other league looks like? Could we go back to... Would we still be able to charge the kind of money we're charging per game if we went back to the 1970s when I watched Leeds and Arsenal and Manchester United slog out 0-0 draws?
Well, Dan, everything about Premier League football has evolved to make it a more... entertaining event because it's more about going forward than it is about defending. The art of defending has almost been taken out of the equation. I know we wax lyrical about Virgil van Dijk and his strengths, but we've seen tackles being taken out of the game. We've seen physicality being taken out of the game because it's more about the offence. It's more about scoring goals.
The NFL thought they were doing that.
Yeah, I get that. But, having owned a football club and looked at it from a dynamic of saying, we get away with murder. Every week we serve up something, or some weeks we serve up something that's complete rubbish. We get people to come back and buy the same thing again. There's no other business like it.
It's brilliant, isn't it?
So broadcasters, to some extent, will have an influence over the end product, but notwithstanding it, it still is the emperor's new clothes sometimes. It is, very dire. And if you look at that particular spectacle last night, they'll recover from it. They'll look at it and they'll still charge $5 million, $6 million, $7 million next year for 30-second commercials. But if it goes on too long and becomes something that gets entrenched in the psyche of the game, that it becomes dull and boring and all about what the broadcasters think they want, then you'll lose the spirit.
And you were so excited about watching this, weren't you?
I was so excited.
And why were you so excited?
Because I was expecting to see a great game of American football.
And I think you've said that the season, I don't watch American football, but you said
it's been a brilliant season.
Right.
There's been one fantastic game after another.
That's right. So the season's been brilliant.
It has.
Unbelievably brilliant, as you said. Tries, whatever you call them, touchdowns, whatever
left,
you
right
get them.
and centre.
It's been great.
And great defending too.
But you need that in a blue ribbon event, though.
So, but what I'm saying is, sometimes we get finals. We've seen it in World Cup finals and things like in Champions League finals. We've seen a great build-up. And because it's all about winning in that one game, because that's where you make history. Yeah. That's where you make history. And what you're saying is, Brady's become the best of all time. Belichick's become the best of all time because they produced this result. So these people you're talking about, all it is winning. That's their mentality, is winning games. Whatever they two played, it's just about winning. Unfortunately, it wasn't the best. It's up to the other team to make it happen. They weren't good enough to make it happen.
No, they negated the other team. That's what they really did very, very well. They absolutely declawed and detoothed the LA Rams, who've averaged the highest number of points per game across the whole season, and they held them to 3 points.
But there is an innate skill in that. It's like
totally
equating, like you look at heavyweight champions, going off piece a little bit, Dan, and you look back at Lennox Lewis.
That's what you're here for.
Look back at Lennox Lewis, who was a friend, and I went to watch him. But you'll never look back on Lennox Lewis' time and say that was the most exciting time in boxing. You'll look at Mike Tyson's time and you'll look at what Anthony Joshua was doing, because Lennox Lewis was a pugilist. He was a strategist. He fought the fight in front of him to negate the opposition, whereas Tyson and Anthony Joshua go out and knock people out, with the exception of Joshua Parker.
Sure.
So there was an element of being a purist about a tactical battle to win a game, to negate the opposition, and some people will appreciate that. You clearly didn't appreciate it, and a lot of people probably didn't as well.
I think the reviews have been shocking. People are really upset about the game. Made worse at half-time by Maroon 5, the blandest band, if they are in a band. They're not a band, they're a commercial proposition put together by a television company. Maroon 5 came out there and then, you think you're not asleep yet? Wait till we've had 5 minutes of us. Oh, it was just terrible. And I, as I say, I'll apologise to anybody who ever tried to convert to the game. It set me back 10 years, I can't tell you. The people were talking even about the games throughout the 90s. There were a series of terrible Super Bowls because one side just ran away with the other. I'll tell you what it reminded me of. Actually, let's go back to the football. 20 years ago, that cup final between Liverpool and Manchester United, with the fawn-coloured suits, the Spice Boys and all that.
Oh, yeah, David James.
The white suits.
Yes,
they
were off-white, yes.
Yeah, David James.
Do you remember how terrible the game was? Absolutely awful game. Won by that slow-motion shot by Cantona, which went through the entire Liverpool team to get across the line.
Oh, I've seen many a cup finals now. I remember Newcastle Arsenal when it was a non-event when Arsenal won 2-0.
Yeah, QPR Tottenham, they were dull as dishwater, those cup finals.
You had to be there.
Yeah, well, I suppose so.
Yeah, I don't know. I had a dog in the fight. It's a different story, isn't it? In fact, if you think about it, that cup final we're talking about, where Manchester United beat Liverpool by 1-0, the most exciting things all happened after the match, where I have it on good authority from one of the players who played that the jacket, the off-white, they were Armani suits, weren't they? Armani jacket of one Neil Ruddock ended up over Eros in Leicester Square. He covered the statue of Eros with his jacket at about 3 o'clock in the morning. I'll leave you to
sounds about right for Ruddock, yeah.
To be fair, his jacket could cover the Forth Road Bridge.
I was going to say, yeah.
Did you have him at Palace briefly?
I did have him at Palace.
Did you pay him, yeah?
Well, we had him on a weight clause, which meant he got fined 10% of his wages for every week that he was over 99.8 kilos, which Harry got me to sign him from West Ham. He said, if you get him at 99.8, he'd be all right. And when I signed him, I went, hang on a second, what am I signing? The sumo wrestler, 99.8 kilos, it's 16 stone. He got fined for 26 weeks in a row.
Would it surprise you if I told you that I thought he was a really good player, Neil Ruddock?
At one point he was.
When he was playing, what a passer he was for a centre back. Yeah,
left foot like a wand.
Yeah, and he's a good laugh too when he comes in here as well.
Right.
But
try paying his wages and have him as an influence to the young players.
Now, he always
then
listens.
You won't think. Good. Hope you're hearing, Neil.
He'll be on Twitter.
Keep out of the kitchen.
How many times did you have to find him, Simon? Would you say?
I think it was 24 weeks, and I made him. I don't care if he's listening. Listen, Ruddock.
No, he does listen. Yeah.
I made him. If he didn't lose, I think it was about 6 pounds over the weekend. He was really in big trouble. So he apparently sat in a sauna for the entire weekend, wrapped himself in baker foil or whatever it was.
Bacon.
Bacon. Then came back and stood on the scales and celebrated with his arms up in the air like Tim Witherspoon because he'd dropped 6
Do you remember
pounds.
Terry Gibson? Terry Gibson
Yeah,
did the same
I was
thing
with him last night.
when we were getting weighed. Wee Terry, he was fantastic. He used to go at 6 o'clock in the morning before a weigh-in and just run round Wimslow, see if he could lose a bit of weight, and then put a plastic bag on himself and then try and lose weight that way, and then hit McDonald's at 1 o'clock.
Terry, incidentally, these days comes here to Talk Sport on a Sunday to record his Spanish football podcast, which is also very good, and I recommend it to you. Let's get over to the London Stadium, see how the game has started. About 15 minutes into the first half, West Ham against Liverpool. Ian Abrahams.
Still 0-0, not quite sure how. West Ham had 3 really good pops on the Liverpool goal. First of all, on 2.5 minutes, Cresswell's into Hernandez, 1-2 on the edge of the box and 12 yards out. The Mexican was really unlucky not to find the bottom corner. Allison was nowhere. Cresswell on 10 minutes with a shot from the edge of the box again. Allison diving away to his left, wouldn't have got it had it been an inch further inside the post. And then we've just seen Hernandez with a shot across the goalkeeper from outside the box, a real rarity, which Allison did parry away to his right-hand side. By the way, I've got to say, Danny, I've been to the last 2 World Cup finals and the European Championship final in Paris. All 3 matches, absolute stinkers. It made the Super Bowl last night look like an absolute thriller. Here, it is a thriller so far, but it's still West Ham 0, Liverpool 0.
Yeah, and we'll keep you across that thriller at the London Stadium. The Moose is not lying on this occasion. West Ham have started pretty well. We'll keep you across everything that happens there. And next up, we'll stay with the theme of the Super Bowl, but there were several important football coaches and football personalities at the Super Bowl last night, and I'll be asking Gordon Strachan in particular, what are they gaining from going and watching another and completely different sport?
When you buy the award-winning Alfa Romeo Giulia or the Stelvio Performance SUV, you can pretend it's for the 5-year warranty, the 3 years free servicing, 5 years roadside assistance, or the 5 years 0% APR. But the real reason is, you just want an Alfa Romeo. Start something beautiful. Visit alfaromeo.co.uk.
5 years or 75,000 miles warranty. Minimum 35% customer deposit. 60 months term. HP sales until the 31st of March 2019. Subject to status. T's and C's apply. Alfa Romeo Financial Services.
Will my travel be affected when we leave the EU?
What about documents for driving?
Will mobile roaming change?
Should I check my travel insurance?
You might also have questions about how leaving the EU on the 29th of March will affect you. Find guidance and up-to-date information at gov.uk/EU exit.
For all you sales shoppers, number crunchers and queue hoppers, time's running out to get 30% off our award-winning fibre in the TalkTalk sale. We'll guarantee no mid-contract price rises on your broadband for 2 years. There's no setup fee. And we'll give you our great connection guarantee, so you can leave in your first 30 days if you don't love your new fibre. Plus, you'll get our powerful Wi-Fi hub with our strongest signal yet. So for all you savvy savers, don't miss 30% off totally unlimited fibre in the TalkTalk sale. Hurry, offer ends 7th of February. Search TalkTalk Fibre. TalkTalk, fairer broadband for everyone. T's and C's apply.
Making the right hire is a lot of little things that really add up.
How do I know I've made a great hire? I listen for feedback.
Plus 6 points.
I'll hear, Tony, the team couldn't be happier.
Plus 10 points.
Or, Tony, the team let the air out of your tyres.
Minus 20 points.
Then someone said, Tony, try Indeed.
Plus 30 points.
Millions of great candidates worldwide visit Indeed every day. And screener questions help me create my shortlist of applicants fast.
Post your job today at Indeed.com. Indeed, the world's #1 job site. Sourcecom score total visits.
Get set for the nation's #1 sports dedicated drive time radio show that brings you all of the action. Exceptional from every angle. Simple. A combustible mix of raw adrenaline, rapid reaction and passionate debate.
Agree with that 100%.
And the biggest names in sport.
Jamie Carragher.
I'm talking to Gary Neville and Adrian Durham. 5 years ago, I wouldn't have known who to punch first.
Drive with Adrian Durham and Darren Gough on TalkSport every weekday afternoon from 4 in partnership with Sky Sports.
Greetings, TalkSport listeners. We'd like to thank you for your continued patronage, and as our gift to you, may we present a wonderful Wednesday night of FA Cup fourth round replay action. It's West Bromwich Albion versus Brighton. Coverage starts from 7 with the usual high-quality football chat that you've come to expect from TalkSport, ahead of kick-off at 7:45. You're welcome.
Those of you who are wondering, this is what Maroon 5 sound like, right? They were the halftime entertainment. Try and compare this with a few years ago when Prince was playing his guitar solo as the rain sheeted down on him, and he did the guitar solo out of Purple Rain. Look, everyone's taste in music is their own business. I totally get that, but liven the thing up, guys. So you've got a worldwide network of people watching you. So among the other things I think were interesting last night was watching, obviously Harry Kane had gone there. How he's supposed to be going to be playing against Dortmund in a few days if he's still jetting around the world is another issue. Harry Kane was at the game. So was David Brailsford, the power behind the resurgence of British cycling over the past decade and a half. So was David Moyes. And so was the England manager, Gareth Southgate, who was interviewed on, I think on the BBC, but certainly on Sky as well. And one of the moments when I woke up from my crick neck position I actually woke up to see him talking. It was interesting to hear him talking about, and he wasn't being a fool. He was saying, the two games completely different, but he was interested in how they build up to these big events and all the rest of it. Gordon, you've done, I think, let's be honest, it's not just you, all coaches tend to go off and look at other countries, other environments, other cultures and other sports to see if there's anything they can learn. What's been your own experience?
Yeah, well, I'll go back to Gareth, and I think on the playing side, I don't think...
sorry, as always, but as soon as you open your beak, there's been a goal at the London Stadium. Let's find out which way it's gone with Ian Abrahams.
Someone against the run of play. 21 on the clock. West Ham 0, Liverpool 1. Sadio Mane is the man with the goal. Simple, really. Down the right-hand side the ball went, and when it was passed into the middle, Mane too easily on the edge of the 6-yard box is able to turn and roll his defender, who I think actually may have been Diop, and put the ball in the back of net beyond Fabianski. There is a suspicion that Milner, before he put the ball in, was offside. We'll have to wait and see about that. But Diop slipped, Mane's turn, and the rest, as I say, is history. Ball in the back of the net, leaders in front here. West Ham 0, Liverpool 1.
VAR's going to ruin the game. He's 4 feet offside there when he gets the ball, James Milner. And not after that, Gordon, you have to ask how 4 West Ham defenders can't mark Sadio Mane.
Yeah, well, one of them has to go to the front post, that's for sure. But the defender's not in a strong position at that time, because Milner, because he's offside, he's got plenty of time. He can pick it out, and the forward. But the defender's got to try and guess where he's got to go. It's very hard to watch the ball and the defender at the same time.
Is it a problem that the linesman?
And saying that, it was a good turn.
Yeah,
it wasn't a tap-in.
The linesman was a few feet away. It was one of those ones where the player's offside is so close to the linesman, it's hard for him to see what's a line, isn't it?
Yeah, but there's also a referee there who can have a look where they kind of different angle where he can give him a hand as well. So that's unfortunate for West Ham, because they've started very well.
We have to get this balance right. There was a game last night in Portugal where there was so much VAR that it had 9 minutes of extra time in the end of the second half. We don't need to do that, but that goal was offside, and it's a real shame for the start that West Ham have made. However, teams who are going to win titles often have bits of luck. You must remember, presumably in your own run to the title with Leeds United, you have to have bits of luck, don't you? Or Aberdeen, you have to have bits of luck.
Yeah, there's times where you have bits of luck, times where the bad play cost you games, and even then, about this, it's got to be topsy-turvy right till the end. There'll be some results I've never seen that coming, never seen that, the Man City thing last week. That's what happens. It's a strange thing, and it's no. It's not a lack of concentration or taking it. It just happens sometimes in sport. But at least this is far better than last night's stuff.
So,
going back to the
what have you done? Where have you been to try and see how other people do things, to try and gain that marginal advantage that Brailsford's always on about?
Yeah, I always like talking to people about the game, and it's amazing what you can pick up, just small things, and just listening. And people go to coaching seminars and try and pick things up, and you'll be there for 3 hours listening, and it'll drag on. But you usually can find something that can help you if you want to look. But I went to Australia after I left Southampton, and I've always wanted to go there, so I thought I'd kill two birds with one stone. So I went there, and I actually went to two different sports. One was the rugby league, which I was a huge fan of, fitness-wise and
it's played at an amazing level in Australia, isn't it?
And so I went there, and also went to Australian rules, Melbourne Kangaroos, and I thought they were interesting. And I learnt a thing about fitness, the understanding. Well, I knew fine well that fitness is nearly the be-all. Technique and fitness is, as Shankly says, fitness, passing control, and good men. So I went to see that. I confirmed what I thought. The top teams there, they had all these things, but they worked hard. But what I did find out that I think that the guy they respected most after the head coach of players was the fitness coach.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, really into that.
Which wasn't true in this country, I guess.
No, it was kind of they waste of time, and they've got that, and they kind of help us. We'll get this, and they look down upon them. So you, as a head coach, were trying to reassure the fitness coach that it was important, trying to tell the players that. But in Australia, that was different. Its fitness was huge, and they're prepared to work so hard at doing their job. I mean, put so much. Some football players, especially younger ones, think that working hard is that level. It's huge. Where you can go with your fitness is huge, and I thought the Australians, they found out how hard to push guys, and they like getting pushed. They never felt they were bullied at any time. They were pushed. Going back to that, bullying only comes when you get beat.
Let me just talk about hard work. I know it's one of your absolute favourite things, Simon, the propensity for people in football to think that hard work is an hour's training in the morning. Yeah. Oddly enough, last night, after the game in the United States, they were talking to one of the great defensive players in the history of the game. And they said to him, how many hours a week do you spend not getting fit or practicing, but looking at films of the opposing quarterback in preparation for a game? And he said, and I was shocked, he said, I would say 8 hours a day for 5 days. I would expect to watch the opposing quarterback 40 hours in the preparation for a game. That's
American football, because it all is down to, as you said last night, you can coach it. It's different in football. Things happen during the game.
It's more chaotic, that's why it's the greatest game in the world.
The coach cannot do anything about it at times. Can do nothing about it.
Simon, have you ever learned anything by going abroad?
Well, it's interesting, Gordon's point. We took an Australian rugby coach into Palace at the time when Ian Dowie was there, and the difference that he made he was a fitness coach, and the difference that he made to the culture of the club and the culture of the players. And that season we went from being fourth in the bottom league to getting promoted to the Premier League.
One of the most amazing things I've ever seen.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think a lot of that was down to John Harbin and the culture that he brought in. He brought in a whole raft of different things, boxing and
Simon, there's a goal at West Ham. What a game we've got in Abrahams.
West Ham 1, Liverpool 1. Liverpool only ahead for 5-6 minutes, and it's Mikel Antonio with the goal. And what a brilliantly worked goal off the training ground too. West Ham free kick, all of 30 yards out, taken short to Snodgrass. Everybody thought Anderson was going to lift it into the box, except Anderson and Antonio. Antonio made a run down the right-hand side and let the ball come across him, shot it across Allison, kissed the post as it went in. West Ham, well, they feel harsh that they conceded the opening goal when it was so far offside it could have been seen on Mars. They're level now, though, thanks to Mikel Antonio. West Ham 1, Liverpool 1.
VA Mars. It's Mars and Vars for the boy, the Moose there. You were saying, Simon?
I was saying
that Harbin had come in and transformed
your team.
John
Harbin had come in and changed the whole the thought process, the manner in which the players looked at things, but he also brought a different spirit into their thinking. So I think there's absolutely a place and space to take things from other sports. I watched a show where the NFL guys do with Mark Chapman, and a lot of the NFL guys were talking to Harry Kane and some of the boys over at St George's. They've gone down to St George's and had a look themselves at what the England footballers do.
Right.
So if you're so one-dimensional that you don't think you can learn something from another sport, then you are one-dimensional.
Well, you're closing your mind.
Absolutely.
And that's the start of decline, isn't
Absolutely.
it?
Can I tell you about the West Ham goal?
Yes, please.
The free kicks and corner kicks are it's a one-time we like American football. And West Ham have scored that goal by somebody blocking somebody like American football.
Is that right?
Nobles blocked somebody to let Antonio run in there. So that's the only time I think American football, and spend them, and a lot of time, and you can say that going back to Howard Wilkinson, we used to spend an hour and a half doing set plays. And it was the most boring thing I've ever been through. Pouring rain. And by the way, if there was a fitness day on the Saturday, we used to have to come in at 8 o'clock in the morning for a 3 o'clock game and get ready for a fitness test and then go to do set plays because we had to be off before the youth team played at 11 o'clock. So we had to do it and then sit about. So that was preparation even back then. Going back to the Australian thing, and this is what I'm saying, the Australian sportsmen are incredible people. I went to watch a game with the Kangaroos versus somebody else, I can't remember who it was, and something strange happened. It doesn't often happen. They went in the lead, the Kangaroos, for, I can't remember, it's 2 hours, and right at the last moment they lost the game. I don't think that's ever been done before, where they're in the lead all the time and the last kick of the ball, right. Next again, they go to training, so they start off normal, and the coach goes, right, okay, we've done the warm down. Where's the midfield? They stuck their hands up. They went, right, in the gym, and I'll see you in the boxing ring. So I think there was 10 midfield players, and I says, what's going to happen now? So I was with a guy, he says, I don't know, I've never seen this before. So we're going, he gets in, the coach, and he went, right, 2 rounds each, you 2 start, and then we'll get somebody else on to fight. And they just stood there and smacked each other. And after about 4 rounds, there was 3 people in, and none of them could box really, apart from one. But then the captain come up and says to the coach, what's happening here? He says, well, it's the midfield, they lost the game for us. He went, listen, we're a team, we're all going to have a shot at this. He went, no. The captain went, yes, we are. So the 20 of them were in the ring at different times, smacking 10 bells at each other.
Wow.
Yeah, and I said to them, imagine this in a football. They have all the agents screaming. They just took it and went, right, okay, we got beat, we'll have to do something about it. And whatever the coach said, and the fitness coach, it went on. It was a massacre for some of them. Some of them weren't very good at boxing. There was one in particular who was very good, and he smashed 11 daylights at 2 lads.
And do you think what did you take away from that?
Never to play in midfield for the Kangaroos.
No,
it's football.
Stay at Manchester United, stay at Leeds. Absolutely right. You're listening to that voice there, of course, Gordon Strachan. Simon Jordan's here as well. I'm Danny Kelly, and this is Kick Off on Talk Sport.
When you buy the award-winning Alfa Romeo Giulia or the Stelvio Performance SUV, you can pretend it's for the 5-year warranty, the 3 years free servicing, 5 years roadside assistance, or the 5 years 0% APR. But the real reason is, you just want an Alfa Romeo. Start something beautiful. Visit alfaromeo.co.uk.
5 years or 75,000 miles warranty. Minimum 35% customer deposit. 60 months term. HB sales until the 31st of March 2019. Subject to status. T's and C's apply. Alfa Romeo Financial Services. EU exit.
My business. Plan.
Exports.
The facts.
Leaving the EU on the 29th of March may mean your business needs to prepare for change. Even if you think your business won't be affected, it's worth double-checking. To help you prepare your business, you can find guidance and up-to-date information at gov.uk/EU exit.
Did you know that there are 122 languages in India? Or that in Singapore, you can visit the world's first night zoo? And that you'll find more bicycles in Beijing than in Amsterdam? But here's the most amazing thing to know. With Lufthansa's attractive fares, you can fly to Asia from £399, subject to availability. Book by February 10th for travel starting from February 11th. Contact your travel agent or visit lufthansa.com. Conditions apply.
Say yes to the world. Lufthansa. It's time. Time to join the millions of people that meet happy with Zoom video conferencing. With stunning HD video, crisp audio, and instant wireless sharing across any mobile, tablet, or desktop device. But the best thing about Zoom? It just works. So ditch the distractions, join the movement, and meet happy with Zoom video conferencing. Visit zoom.us to set up your free account today. That's zoom.us. Zoom video conferencing.
The transfer window may be closed, but at Football Index you can buy and sell the world's top players every day of the year. Their value may go up and down, but it's not over with the final whistle like a regular bet. You get to stay in the game. Trade up to £500 for 7 days, and if you don't love Football Index, they'll give you your money back.
Start building your portfolio today at footballindex.co.uk or download the app now. New customers only, minimum deposit and conditions apply. Gamble responsibly.
Go anywhere, do anything. We've got you covered. 5 years warranty, 3 years free servicing, and 5 years roadside assistance on the entire Jeep range, including the all-new Wrangler. And from only £169 per month and 0% APR on the new Jeep Renegade. Jeep, born to be wild. 5 years or 75,000 miles warranty. Finance offer available on Renegade Sport. 37-month term. Customer deposit £5,897. Optional final payment £6,719. 15,000 miles per annum. PCP sales until 31st of March 2019. Subject to status. T's and C's apply. Jeep Financial Services.
The father of football commentary, John Motson on TalkSport.
I'm John Motson. Join me throughout the week, throughout the season for passionate opinion, iconoclastic comment and unrivaled live football commentary.
TalkSport 1, other radio stations, 0. Brilliant season, brilliant commentator. Over 600 hours of irrepressibly live football. What are you waiting for? John Motson, undisputed king of commentators on TalkSport.
Finds Rashford, left-hand side of the area. Little step over. Oh, what a goal from Marcus Rashford.
He has absolutely everything that he needs to be at that level. I think they can hang the hat on him.
Back to Aguero, edge of the area. He's going for his fourth goal. Gets it with an absolute belter.
Incredible. He's been absolutely fantastic for City, and he'll go down as one of the all-time greats in the Premier League.
Leaves it for Rashford. Through the wall it goes and into the net. Oh, it's given away by Schmeichel straight to Aguero, who chips him and scores. Over the top, looking for Rashford. Brilliant control. Brilliant finish from Marcus Rashford.
An hour on the clock, and this is a scruffy one, but it is a hat-trick for Sergio Aguero.
A sure finish is great to see, of course. He never doubted himself, and that's what you want to see in a striker.
I'm so satisfied for score for the striker, for him, for the future, and especially for a new player in the fact how he fight, how he, helped the team.
Yeah, that's for the next 20 minutes. Return to the Premier League, having had a little bit of a bash about American football, what we can learn and what we can't learn from it. I want to talk about two forwards, perhaps at either end of their careers. We'll talk a little later about Marcus Rashford, who racked up his 100th appearance for Manchester United, and I still think him of as a kind of YTS boy, a trainee, but he has already had a good career with Manchester United, scored again at the weekend. And then Sergio Aguero, his 14th hat-trick for Manchester City, and 157 goals in 227 appearances for Manchester City. The combined distance for his 3 goals, because of the way City play, with that tapping the ball behind the full-back Gordon and then crossing it, the combined distance of the 3 goals is about 8 yards, I think it's fair to say, but you still have to put them in the net, you still have to be there. Two things to ask about Aguero. Why is it when we're talking at the end of the season he never gets into the team of the year? And what has Pep Guardiola done for him, or what has he done to convince Pep Guardiola, who clearly didn't fancy him when he first got there, that he's the man for the job?
Well, we don't know. He clearly didn't fancy him, that's for sure. I don't know where that come from. But I don't think you can actually say I don't fancy Aguero, because if you look at even his stuff when he was at Atletico Madrid, if you look at YouTube, have a look at that. It's incredible.
He took him out of the team, Strax.
Of course he took him out of the team.
That will give you a clue, wouldn't it?
That was my major clue.
By the way, it wasn't a lot of games. Let's go back and have a look how many games.
I think it was quite a few.
No, I'll tell you, it wasn't many games. But people would jump on the bandwagon and go, "Oh, he's left him out." Yeah, he leaves good players now and then. Sterling and things still leaves them out. They all get left out at times. Has he made them better? Probably, yeah. It probably gets better as he gets older. Probably. Guardiola said, "Listen, to be a real world-class player, you need to add this." And I think it was a wee bit of the closing down and closing down up front. Yeah, just a wee bit more work up front. And that can be scary at times for strikers, because you think, if I do that work, we'll still be as fresh when the ball comes to me.
Save your energy, Jimmy Greaves style.
That's exactly right. So he's got both now. And he's got the rewards of that, and he's convinced him he can do both, which is fantastic. But I just think top player. And Harry's come in over the last couple of years. People say, why isn't he picked the main striker? Harry Kane's been magnificent.
To be fair, Aguero was in the team of the year last season. Of course he will be. Manchester City won the title by umpteen points. But in the previous 6 or 7 years, when he's got just goal after goal after goal, he hasn't been in there. But without disrespecting our colleague here, I'm right, aren't I? He didn't fancy him when he got there.
Oh, I don't know what Gordon was babbling about.
How do you two know he doesn't fancy him? When have you two ever been in the dressing room with Guardiola and says, Pep, tell me what you think of him?
I've heard some drivel.
Don't let him talk you down.
I do think that Gordon was barking up some particular tree there that was nowhere near resembling
Give me
fact.
evidence that you know fine well.
He dropped him regularly. And if you look at it, it wasn't just a narrative.
He didn't drop him regularly.
He did, Strax.
He never dropped him regularly.
He did. There was a passage of time.
If you look at all the goals that he scored, all the time they won the league, he's scoring all the goals. If he dropped them regularly, why is he top goal scorer every year?
Gordon, in the first season that Guardiola was there was an absolute disconnect between Aguero and what Guardiola wanted from him, and there was an absolute disconnect about their perception of how much value he had to this team under Guardiola. Now, the change was made by the player. The penny dropped.
Or was it change made by the manager thinking, I've got this wrong?
I don't think so. I think.
I can happen. I've done that with a couple of players.
I think the stats that were produced, and I hate stats as much as certain people hate stats, but the stats proved that Aguero was doing things very differently after a while when Guardiola walked in the door. So I don't think that you can discount the quality of Aguero, but I do think that there's a quality about Guardiola which supersedes even a quality that Aguero had.
Yeah, but I'm still worried about these stats you keep telling me about that I've not seen yet. And
all right. Well, you know how it works, Gordon. Within the media and surrounding the game,
manager can be wrong as well with my play when he gets there.
Sure, of course.
And then go, wait a minute, he's better than what I thought he was. I was thinking about bringing my own man in, and then going, excuse me, just a second.
He did bring his own man in. He brought in Jesus. He did bring his own players in.
Although he was a very young player to be.
I know, but there was a run of games that they put Jesus in.
He got in. He had a fantastic start to his career. That's for sure. Then he got a bad injury at Bournemouth. Jesus.
And there was stats, Gordon, because I remember the statisticians doing it and talking about the
so
change
much
in
so
Aguero's
that
play.
there was genuine hope among other clubs in Europe that they could buy Aguero of Manchester City. There was talk that he was available for transfer.
So
but he never went. He's still there.
No,
I know, because he adapted, Strax. That's the point we're making. I'd like to go with you, but I find on this journey I can't go with you.
No, you're not coming on the train with me tonight. Seriously, I like a bit of peace and quiet.
And a couple of cans of special brew.
Special brew. What do you think I'm going for Glasgow at Edinburgh?
What's the Scottish beer with the tartan on the can?
Oh, McEwen's.
McEwen's is the best buy in beer, yes.
Big chance at the London Stadium, Ian Abrahams.
West Ham 1, Liverpool 1. We played 42 minutes, and how Declan Rice has not scored here. West Ham with a free kick again, 25, 30 yards out. Again, it's Anderson and Snodgrass behind it. This time it's a ball in by Anderson, and he's 10 yards out, Deck, and he's headed it over the angle of post and bar by fractions. And West Ham close with every free kick to scoring. Hernandez should have scored or had a better connection from another free kick where he came round the back and got in on the blind side and volleyed it just straight up in the air. Liverpool, meanwhile, at the other end, not really creating too much. West Ham with most of the chances here, but it remains West Ham 1, Liverpool 1.
What's making that, Gordon?
Set plays again. American football. Here we go. And they've done it well because they actually only moved the ball about 2 yards or a yard. It just gave the players an extra second to get in there because Liverpool hold that high line and try and play up against you. That movement in the ball just a yard has made a big difference. By the way, it wasn't an easy header.
No, I was going to say it wasn't.
And to be fair, it was nearly one of the all-time great headers because about 15 yards out and it's just missed the top corner.
Yeah, all headers from distance have to be pretty good to score, don't they? And Rice got himself into position there. Now, we're talking about Sergio Aguero. That hat-trick that he got at the weekend against Arsenal was his 10th in the Premier League, which takes him one behind. I'm going to give this away.
He scored 10 goals. It's 10 hat-tricks when he's never getting a game.
Well, he's got a lot of games recently.
How many
hat-tricks did he get when he sat on the bench in the early days?
Many times did he sat on the bench?
Loads of times.
You keep saying loads and stats, but you never come up.
Well, you haven't got any either.
Well, I have got a stat. He scored 10 hat-tricks.
He has scored 10 hat-tricks. Only one person has scored more Premier League hat-tricks.
Alan Shearer.
Yeah. OK, so behind him, just for fun, there are no prizes. Since the BBC staff started nicking all the prizes for competitions, we're not allowed to do these competitions anymore for prizes on air. Just for fun, name me the next 4 players. You can do it.
Joining?
I want you to do it. Yeah, all right. It's a point because they just look it up on Google. So the next 4 have got 9 and 3 8s respectively. So next one's got 9. Then there's three players with 8 hat-tricks. Who are they?
Is Andy Cole in there?
He is not.
Oh, that's me and Acker.
He is 9th with 5 hat-tricks.
In the Premier League, right?
Yeah.
OK.
I'll give you as a clue, if I may. I'll tell you the clubs these are most associated with. 2 of them
Man United
are Liverpool players.
Oh.
One of them is an Arsenal player, and one of them is a player for Tottenham Hotspur.
Fowler.
There are no Manchester United players anywhere near the top of this list, Gordon. You know
Robbie Fowler.
Robbie Fowler is one of them. Very good.
Michael Owen?
Michael Owen is the other. So, 1 Arsenal, 1 Tottenham. Henry is good.
Good. We need one more, do we?
8 hat-tricks for Tottenham Hotspur.
Oh.
In the Premier League.
Terry Sheringham?
Nope.
Robbie Keane?
Very close, but not. I'll tell you, shall I? Because, of course, it's the one-season wonder, Harry Kane.
I was going to say Harry Kane.
Harry Kane has already got 8 hat-tricks for Tottenham Hotspur. And, of course, he was limping around at the Super Bowl last night, and they tell me he's going to be fit to play against Dortmund on the 13th. I'd like to see that. I'd really like to see that. You're listening to Simon and Danny and Gordon here on TalkSport and Kickoff.
It's Stuart Francis's farewell tour.
I pride myself on doing a good job. I'm a bit of a perfectionist.
He's been on Mock the Week and live at the Apollo. Now he's heading off into the pun set.
Puns about air conditioners? Not a fan.
New dates added due to overwhelming greed.
So what if I can't spell Armageddon? It's not the end of the world.
Tickets available at livenation.co.uk. When the puns stop.
Sorry, Mrs. Mills. Your boiler needs replacing.
Oh, no. What would you recommend?
Well, I see you've got a Bosch washing machine.
Yes, it's never let me down.
Exactly. I'd recommend a Worcester Bosch Green Star 29 CDI. It's really reliable and it's been awarded a Best Buy from Which. And with a Bosch Easy Control, you can even adjust the heating from your phone. So simple, your cat could do it. To find your new boiler, a local installer, and receive up to a 10-year guarantee, search warm as Worcester.
The work van. Functional, trusted, vital. But what about advanced, desirable, distinctive? Introducing the all-new Peugeot Partner with innovative surround rear vision and the acclaimed Peugeot iCockpit teamed up with a payload of up to a ton and room for 2 Euro pallets. It's more than a work van, it's a partner. Voted What Van LCV of the Year and International Van of the Year 2019. Master the impossible. Experience all new Partner and drive it for yourself at your local Peugeot dealer. Discover more at business.peugeot.co.uk.
From anthropology to zoology, philosophy to politics, the Times Literary Supplement covers much more than just literature, with stimulating comment from writers like Mary Beard and David Baddiel. Subscribe to the Complete Works Pack today and get the print edition delivered every week. Plus, enjoy unrestricted access to the Times Literary Supplement online and an ever-growing podcast library. The Times Literary Supplement, nourishing readers' minds for over 100 years. Search for the Times Literary Supplement today.
It's freezing in here.
Oh no, the heating's not working.
One nasty surprise is enough. We're with you. So with British Gas Home Care Boiler Cover, all parts and labour are included when we repair your boiler. From £12 a month, that's just 40p a day. And when you buy selected home care products online by the 18th of February, get 1 month free. Search British Gas Home Care. Conditions apply.
It's red for the keeper, so the 5-foot striker's going in goal. Surely just a case of aiming high. Oh, not that high.
Some opportunities you can't miss, like ComeOn.com's welcome offer. Bet £10, get a £10 free bet.
That one's still rising.
ComeOn.com. Don't miss a sitter. 18 plus. BeGamblerAware.org. Bet responsibly at ComeOn.com. New UK mainland customers only. Minimum £10 bet on odds of 1.8 or more qualifies for £10 free bet. Terms apply.
Straightforward, straight talking, and straight to the point.
And it's absolutely brilliant!
Kick off
on Talk Sport.
think about Ghost Town, it's unmistakable, isn't it? This is the new special song. Vote for me.
Vote for me.
Vote for me. We want you to go out and buy it. They're number 2 at the moment in the digital download charts, the pop singles charts, and it is now. And Simon and I, for various reasons of nostalgia, and knowing Terry and the gang, it's already number 2. Let's get it up to number 1. Go and download it and make me, an old man, very happy indeed. Simon, not so old.
You understand why we don't believe you. You're way too easy to see through.
Strachan is a very good seat dancer. I didn't know. Very good dancer. Are you a good dancer in real life?
No, I do the seat thing.
But you're athletic and you're fit. Were you a good dancer when you were younger?
Horrendous. I do the seat thing where I can just look up her body and I bring the legs into play.
Turn up his microphone. I can't hear the fella talking. I'll get Leslie, Mrs. Gordon Strachan, who we know listens to the show because she coaches you throughout the show. Mm-hmm. Don't let those two bully you and all that. Yep. We'll find out from Leslie if you're a good dancer or not. It's half time at the London Stadium. Plenty for Ian Abrahams to report.
West Ham 1, Liverpool 1. Controversy over Liverpool's goal. West Ham undoubtedly deserved to be at least level at half-time. Liverpool ahead on 22 minutes. Mane turning drop to score. This after Milner had put the ball in, and Milner was at least 2 or 3 yards offside. The linesman wasn't even looking at him. He was looking at the foot skills of Adam Lallana, who fed the ball to Milner. Had he been looking at Milner, he might have spotted that he was miles offside. Anyway, the goal stood. I won't worry about that. 6 minutes later, West Ham level. Training ground move from a free kick. Anderson short free kick to Snodgrass, and when he got it back, the Brazilian slid it down the right-hand channel for Antonio to let it run past his body and fire in via the post. Before that, Cresswell and Hernandez have both gone close in the opening 10 minutes to giving West Ham the lead, and after a Firmino effort being saved by Fabianski, Rice could have given West Ham the lead just before half-time. Another brilliant free kick routine. This time, the youngster just headed over from 10 yards out. Really competitive. Liverpool are in a game here, and in the second half, West Ham will have the aid of that lino. West Ham 1, Liverpool 1.
Yep, thank you very much indeed, Ian. We'll get you back to the second half there. Important game, of course, for all clubs, but particularly for the top of the Premier League. Now, if Sergio Aguero is one person who his hat-trick marked another milestone in his very good career, often starting off the bench, of course, 3 seasons ago, Simon is so determined about this. We've now got a team of young researchers out there combing the internet for the facts.
Exactly, the facts for Strax.
The facts for Strax, or what Rafa Benitez was, facts, he's going to say. Another landmark, though, for another forward who plays in Manchester, and that was Marcus Rashford, another one who you could argue wasn't always being started, although Mourinho loved taking out his folder and saying, I have started him in 37 games, he's come on in 37. The fact of the matter is, he's a young player. He's already had a lot of games for England and 100 appearances for Manchester United. I mean, there are lots and lots of good professional footballers, Gordon, and you played for the club, for whom 100 games for Manchester United would be the pinnacle of their career. Rashford scored again. He looks to be enjoying his life under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. He's signed a new contract. So let me ask you these questions. Is he exactly where he should be, Gordon, in his career? Is he now establishing himself as Manchester United centre-forward? What does it mean for the likes of Lukaku? Or are we not yet? Is it not yet at that place where you can say, here is Manchester United's striker?
No, he's coming on great now. I seen him about a year and a half ago. He got the England squad, and I watched him then. I thought, I wouldn't like playing against you. I hope you're not playing. But he couldn't get this as a central striker in England because of Harry Kane, who's the best. What's happened to Man United now? It's handy because he's not got the strength of Lukaku. And I always felt sorry for Lukaku because he always plays through the middle on his own and nobody round about him, and he had to fight people off and he had no movement.
This is particularly under Mourinho, yeah?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And Martial stayed at one spot, somebody else stayed
They were tethered to the touchlines, weren't they?
What's happening now is, and he needs space to run into. He's at his best when he runs 15, 20 yards and then receive the ball because he burns people off before he gets there. I don't think strength would do it for him. No. But to allow that to happen, Man United are now more fluid. Lingard comes and plays in the inside right position. Martial will come off of there, and whatever play you got playing. So they're getting closer to him. That means if they're getting closer, full-backs and another centre half will have to go looking for these guys. So when they go looking for them, they leave space, and that's when Rashford will get into space and use that electricity pace over 15, 20 yards. People think pace is a long ball from here on. That can happen now and then, but he likes that explosive pace.
Yes.
15, 20 yards, 10 yards. It's only happening now. I don't think it would happen under Jose's, because the back fours they're playing would never get pulled apart. They're getting pulled apart now because of the movement of the two players, and maybe Herrera going up and Pogba going up, so somebody in the back four is looking for, and he exploits that space.
How much, if you think back to your own teenage years, just as a human being, you develop between the ages of 17 and 20. You're two completely different human beings. At least I was. Is it the same with footballers? These games, he's played, let's say, 50 games where he started, and other games where he's come on as sub, and other games where he's been subbed off. Do the best footballers, how quickly do you learn? I need to put this question correctly. You come out of the brilliant academy at Manchester United, and you know all about how to play football. But there's another leap to be made, and that is to become what Graham Souness would call a proper player. How quickly has Rashford made that leap?
Well, he's definitely made that leap. And now the hard bit is staying there, doing what Aguero and Harry Kane does every year,
sustaining it,
doing it, because it's actually quite easy when you first get in there. It's keeping it going, keeping the drive, dealing with the critics when you have a couple of bad games, all that. And funny enough, Brian McClare used to say about me, he's the best striker they've got. Brian was big on him. He says a better player than Lukaku, but that's up to over the years, because Lukaku's done very well with his career.
Player, yeah.
Right good player. I mean, a right good player, but he's different. But Brian said to me that of all the youngsters recently, he's the best one. And he also, Brian, like Lingard as well. It's amazing that two of the best players they've got now are again coming through the academy.
Although Lingard, of course, is in his mid-20s. It's really been a long, hard journey for him, hasn't it?
But he's stuck in there. And it's his explosive pace now is benefiting Man United, where it didn't have that explosive play. The game is built around that explosive pace over 10, 15 yards now, when these two guys are coming to their own now.
I mean, you watch Crystal Palace closer than anybody else, Simon, and both Townsend and Zaha. You've got players who are incredibly quick over the ground. I love to see that.
Yeah, me too.
A player who can take the skill and do the skill at high speed is murder. And Rashford appears to me, and I agree with you, the idea of how are you going to oppose him?
What players will run for, Danny, is space and gaps. If they're no there, you can't run. You end up coming to the ball, and I think that's what Lukaku was doing. He was always coming because there was no room. Whatever back four they played against.
I really wanted to get Simon involved, but now you've brought me on to the other thought I had. Kane, we know, can come back towards his own goal as a 10. Rashford has the pace behind. I know Sterling does it. Could England end up with Kane and Rashford up front as a 2?
You'd have to change it then. You'd have to change it to a back 4 and a midfield 4, and then you have to change the dynamics of that. Has Sterling got to be in that 4? You know, and he's hot at the moment. Has he got to be in that? You can do it a bit like if you played a bit like, and saying that France, where Giroud, Griezmann, and what do you call him, plays out wide?
It was Mbappe.
Mbappe,
on the right.
And then they play a narrow midfield after that with the left side coming in. You could do it that way, but England have been doing well the system they've got, you know. So I don't think he's best playing off left or right. Rashford, I think.
It's down the middle.
He's in the middle.
Yep.
So what you've got there at England is two terrific players, two different strengths.
And that's what I love. If you can harness two different things. Back to you, Simon, just to say, I think there's been debates about Rashford, but I think they were caused by Jose Mourinho not employing. I think he's just a fantastic player.
Yeah, I felt, and this is probably going to really highlight some ignorance, I thought he was a speedboat without a brain, and now I'm seeing so much more from him. And I think there is an element of, I think young players peak and trough, don't they, Gordon? They go up and they go down because that's the nature of young players. And David Moyes was very proficient at the time of managing Wayne Rooney because he felt that was part and parcel of his development. Obviously, Marcus Rashford got thrown in at the deep end, started like a train. So I think you're probably right. I think Mourinho, I don't think enhanced him, despite the fact that Mourinho would regularly take credit if he played well.
Absolutely, yeah. We have a T-shirt. You see that Rashford? I did that. Didn't he? And then he would explain to you statistically how he had nurtured this talent. And anybody with a brain in their head could say, I think Marcus looked like he could do more and better and be happier and play better football.
Yeah.
And here he is. Yeah. Thank you very much indeed. Sorry, I only cut you off there, Gordon. No disrespect was meant, but we do have to take a break. When we come back, we'll be looking at things that are going on in the Championship. Huge weekend in the Championship with Leeds getting tonked at home by Norwich City. We'll talk about Leeds, talk about the re-emergence of Middlesbrough, and the frightening prospect, some might say, of Tony Pulis being back in the Premier League. We'll talk about Scotland as well, where Rangers got 4 penalties in one match this weekend. Gordon's swivelling his eyes a little bit. What do you mean this week? He's probably thinking, but Celtic are on 6 points clear. And we'll talk about the rugby, where, let's be honest, I have to man up here. I wanted Ireland to win. I love the Ireland rugby team because it represents the whole island. They got the bottom half of their anatomy handed to them by a brilliant England team.
Jim White on TalkSport with Wix. Let's do it right.
Rugged analysis, considered opinion, measured reaction.
You're all right. It's Jim White.
Get first pick of the litter on all the big breaking stories shaking the sports world to its core. You're all right. I'm Jim White. The best to you each morning.
Jim White, tomorrow morning from 10 on TalkSport with Wix. Let's do it right.
Ken and Shirley have treated themselves to a change of car. Shirley visited My Car Check before she paid a penny. But Ken didn't need to. He knows best. They're on the road. It's a lovely little runner. With details of finance, write-offs, thefts, MOTs and more, they had the key information needed to buy with care and drive with peace of mind. Visit mycarcheck.com or text the reg to 83600 and be car confident. Text costs 2 times £1.50 plus usual network charges. Purchase required for full online or in-app checks.
At Experian.co.uk, we know being single's no fun. That's why we do everything we can to help you meet your ideal match, your data self.
Until I met my data self, I had no idea which credit card was right for me. He was able to show me the ones I was eligible for before I even applied. It really has changed my life.
Find out how your data self could help you make better financial decisions at Experian.co.uk. Experian Limited is a credit broker, not a lender, working with selected lenders.
You know your funk from your punk, from your Gregorian monk. But do you know your pension options? PensionWise is a service set up by the government to provide free, impartial guidance about your pension pot. If you're over 50, call 0800 144 8944 to book your free telephone or face-to-face appointment. PensionWise. Get to know your options.
For all you sale shoppers, number crunchers and queue hoppers, time's running out to get 30% off our award-winning fibre in the TalkTalk sale. We'll guarantee no mid-contract price rises on your broadband for 2 years. There's no setup fee, and we'll give you our great connection guarantee, so you can leave in your first 30 days if you don't love your new fibre. Plus, you'll get our powerful Wi-Fi hub with our strongest signal yet. So for all you savvy savers, don't miss 30% off totally unlimited fibre in the TalkTalk sale. Hurry, offer ends 7th of February. Search TalkTalk Fibre. TalkTalk, fairer broadband for everyone. T's and C's apply.
On digital radio and 1089 and 1053 AM. Talk Sport.
Yeah, still an hour to go here of tonight's edition of Kick-Off before, of course, Sports Bar gives you the chance, the first chance on national radio to react to the big game tonight at the London Stadium, where at half-time it's West Ham 1, Liverpool 1. In the next hour, we'll be looking at the Championship, Scotland, and the big rugby match at the weekend. Wow, what a performance by England. But before any of that, though, we should get some news and sport headlines, and they come from Carl Hartley.
Thanks, Danny. A blow for employment here in the UK, and Liverpool are being held by West Ham, but the Hammers should be in the lead.
Talk Sport.
Nissan will need to reapply for millions of pounds of government funding after it scrapped plans to build a new SUV in Sunderland. The change of plan, which is partly down to Brexit uncertainty, means more than 700 jobs won't be created. Here's Shadow Business Secretary Rebecca Long-Bailey.
Yesterday's announcement from Nissan that it has reversed its decision to build the X-Trail at its Sunderland plant and move it to Japan instead is a bitter blow to the northeast, the automotive sector and Britain's industrial strategy.
Air accident investigators are yet to decide whether to retrieve the wreckage from Emiliano Sella's plane from the bottom of the English Channel. We know at least one body is inside the submerged aircraft, which was found yesterday. Captain Martin Alder is a flight safety expert.
I noticed the aircraft is an American registered aircraft, which makes it
then impossible for it to have been legally flying a commercial flight from France to the UK.
Police in Hull looking for missing student Libby Squire say they found her mobile phone at her home, but it's not helped them in their search. The 21-year-old has been missing since last Thursday night. Sports Minister Mims Davis is to hold an urgent meeting with the major players in football to tackle racism and discrimination. Bosses at the FA, Premier League and EFL will join other groups to discuss proposals for new anti-discrimination measures following a number of incidents in recent months. And police in London say they are looking for a man with a distinctive walk over the vandalism of 5 memorials with white paint. They've released images of a suspect wearing ski goggles.
Talk Sport weather with QuickFit. Don't break down in the cold this winter. Get your battery checked for free at one of our 600 centres and drive away happy.
Tomorrow's going to start off dry and bright in the morning across the north, but it will gradually turn wet and windy.
Talk Sport. Sports update.
It's 1-1 at the London Stadium, but Liverpool will count themselves lucky to be level. Sadio Mane's goal should have been ruled out, with James Milner being offside in the build-up. Michail Antonio scored for West Ham. It's not only the linesman who's made a blunder at the London Stadium tonight, though. West Ham's programme welcomed Arsenal and Unai Emery to the stadium before the game. As you know, they're actually playing Liverpool. Now, Tony Pulis says he'll have to mix it up a bit and make some changes for their FA Cup replay at Newport. Middlesbrough play promotion rivals Leeds and Sheffield United in the next 10 days. Despite the incentive of a fifth-round tie with City, Pulis says he needs to prioritise the Championship.
It's unfortunate, really, that the FA Cup is placed in between so many important games. It's third choice in lots of respects when they come to doing fixtures. And it's sad, really, because I think it's still the greatest cup competition in the world.
TalkSport 2 understands that Harry Kane could be fit enough to feature in Spurs' Champions League clash with Borussia Dortmund next week. Kane's been sidelined with an ankle ligament damage and was ruled out until March. And CJ Stander has been ruled out of Ireland's Six Nations matches with Scotland and Italy. He's facing 4 weeks on the sidelines after injuring his face in Saturday's defeat to England. Now there's more sport on our website, talksport.com.
On digital radio and 1089 and 1053 AM.
It's a brilliant goal!
It's the unstoppable Monday night football throwdown.
Oh my word!
Looking back at all the weekend's action.
Brilliant goal!
Kick off on Talk Sport.
Welcome back to the final hour of 3 of tonight's edition of Kick-Off here on Talk Sport. I'm Danny Kelly. Alongside me in the studio, I am genuinely delighted to say Gordon Strachan and Simon Jordan. Over the course of the next hour, we'll be talking about the walloping that England's rugby team gave to Ireland. Is this a marker to everybody else in world rugby as we head towards the World Cup? We'll be talking about Celtic and Rangers and others in Scotland, where Celtic went 6 points clear of their city rivals on the weekend, despite Rangers getting 1, 2, count them, 3, 4 penalties in a football match. You're listening to Kick-Off on Talk Sport. I thought we'd take some time out to talk about the Championship, because not only did the results at Elland Road concertina the top of the table, but it is once again proving to be, and Gordon, I think you certainly managed in it. Did you play in the Championship?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah? You know this league then. It is the most fantastic fun. I'm going to use that word. Not for you if you're playing in it, because you have to play 46 games against very physical teams.
Test you.
But for me, with an interested bystander, I think it's a wonderful, fun
I've got to
league.
say, going back to that was probably the most enjoyable season of my career.
Who were you playing for at the time?
Do me a favour, Danny. I thought you were a sports reporter.
You tell me.
Leeds United.
Leeds got relegated?
No, we were in the Championship.
Oh, yeah.
We went up, we got promoted from there.
Okay, sorry, thank you.
I joined them when they were mid-table.
Of course you did. They went up and then won the title within a couple of years. Absolutely
That's
brilliant.
right.
Thank you very much indeed.
You.
But the results at the weekend have once again, look, just take the example. Birmingham City, having resisted the temptation, Simon, to cash in on their best player, their centre forward, and who they're being offered 10 million quid for, and in previous regimes, Birmingham would have had to take that money. They then turned around, beat semi-local Midlands rivals Nottingham Forest, catapult up the table. But the result, I think, that obviously demonstrates some things that are going on in that league were when the top two played each other, and the result at Elland Road was Leeds 1, Norwich City 3. It's brought Sheffield United, West Bromwich Albion, Middlesbrough into striking distance of the automatic places. Even Bristol City, Derby, Birmingham, they'll all be thinking we can catch up to these now. Because at this stage of the season, there are teams, Leeds are second, having lost 7 games. I mean, that's just what kind of league it is. But let's talk about Leeds, if I can. When they appointed Marcelo Bielsa, I was on here on the radio saying this is an incredible coup for Leeds. Because this fella, whether you like him or you don't like him, he is one of the most interesting coaches in world football. And he has failures, like he ends up being sued by the clubs he's at. But he also had great successes. And people never, ever forget that they've seen a Marcelo Bielsa team. The running and the interchange of play, and the fact that he tries different things. He'll play 2 centre-halves of 5'5" if he thinks it'll help win the game.
Oh, he'll play 1 centre-half. I've seen him doing it with Chile.
Yeah.
And the boy Medell played in front of him. Remember the guy at Cardiff?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, he played in front of him.
He did indeed. And I thought there was a danger around Christmas that Leeds were going to run away with this lead. He'd finally found the magic key to Leeds United regaining a place, not their place, but a place in the Premier League. But they've lost 4 of the last 6, and Gordon, you making a point to me that it's difficult to say they've run out of steam because they actually were the better team that you could argue against Norwich.
I didn't see the game, but what I was listening to on the radio, it seemed like Leeds were playing very well, had all the ball, had all the shots, then they go and score a goal, then they get a deflected. The first one was deflected, was it? The free kick? Anyway, but Leeds seem to have been playing okay. It was just sometimes it's one of these days where everything goes against you. And I think when you win a championship, you look back at 3 or 4 games and you think, oh, I thought I'd lost it at that point because we were that bad. But that's got to happen. It's got to happen. It's got to keep turning over because that is a competitive league. And you go about Birmingham. I've seen Birmingham a few times. And I've got to say, if they had got what they deserved at the beginning of the season, I've seen them, they were drawing games left, right and centre, and they were the better team. And if you're talking about coaching, his coaching, Gary Monk's been as good as anybody, what I've seen. And I've not seen much of the fella Adams up front, who were the clubs in the Premier League. Listen, is he good? They play a basic 4-4-2, as Dave Bassett would say. Was it Dave Bassett?
Mike Bassett.
Mike Bassett.
Mike Bassett. 4-4, bleeping 4-2, yeah.
That's what they do, because when he was at Swansea, it was that he kept that thing pass for the back. Thing going on. Then he went somewhere else, tried that, didn't work very well. Went to Middlesbrough, probably unlucky. And then he's went, right, okay, I've got a bunch of players. I can't play this pass. I'll tell you what I'll do. I've got 2 good strikers. I'll play 4-4-2, and they've been terrific at playing that. And I would say they've probably lost about 8 points that they should have picked up this season. So they've done very well. So you'd make them dark horses. You think they've got the stuff, do you? I don't know. I really don't. I just think they don't get many injuries, which is good because they've got a big squad. The other teams can handle it, like West Brom and things like that. Middlesbrough, they can handle injuries, and I think they'll be at the top along with Leeds and Norwich at the end because they've got the bigger squads. As we alluded to, Simon, earlier in the show, you of course were at the helm of one of the most remarkable things that's ever happened in Championship football, where Crystal Palace went from the dotted line of relegation to promotion in the space of half a season, really. Yeah, half a season. Now, what does that tell you that for all that we love this championship, is it much of a muchness? Are all the teams at the sort of same level, or what was your experience, or did you just have a sort of supernatural run?
I just think we got a rhythm and a momentum about us. I think we changed. I think we had some very good players that at the time were playing for Steve Kemba. They were too comfortable, too easy. It was too relaxed. And I think when Ian Dowie came in, he was very much an energiser at that time. He brought in John Harben that I spoke about earlier on, the Australian rugby league coach that got these players, some very capable players that we had there. Young Wayne Routledge that went on to have a good career. Young Ben Watson went on to have a good career. Dougie Friedman, who was a top player at that level. And other players that that were in and around the squad at that particular time that became established Premier League players. But they weren't. They were playing in a very comfortable environment. I made Steve Kemba the manager because he was always the bridesmaid and never the bride. He'd stepped in on 2 or 3 occasions for me and got us out of the sticky stuff, and implored me to give him a job. And I'd said to him, "Be careful what you wish for, because if I give you this job and you don't do it, I will fire you and you'll lose your status within the club, which was a job for life." Sure, which I did. He was a hero, wasn't he? He was a hero and a really good guy, Steve. But the players were too comfortable. And then you got the situation when Dowie came in and livened them up. And then I always remember watching us, and the team that I always benchmarked us against was Neil Warnock Sheffield United. If you could take their heart, if you could beat them and leave them on their backsides at the end of the game, then you had something about you. And we did it at Bramall Lane, and I watched Sheffield United. We bashed them up 3-1 at Bramall Lane, and I watched them. I thought, that is the first time in my time at Palace that I've seen my side match Sheffield United and actually leave the Sheffield United players not fancying this anymore. And that particular time, I knew we had a chance, and subsequently we got promoted. But a Championship now is an even more difficult league than when I had Palace in it.
Why
because
is
if
that?
you look at the teams that you've got in there, look at the calibre of Premier League experience that exists in this side. You've got a side that's bottom of the league that 15 years ago were playing in Europe, or 16, 17 years ago were playing in Europe, but under David Sheepshanks' tenure and George Burley's tenure as the team that no one could believe that were things they were doing.
Would you also think, Simon,
and Bolton there too,
would you also think that because of the quality in the Premier League and maybe the top six, going back to that, you're getting such fantastic players in loan now? You know, because I've seen Harvey Barnes playing for Leicester at the weekend, and he was playing regular at West Brom, was it? West Brom, yeah. So that's the type of player you're getting there now.
There is an element of that. But if you look
and
at
the younger ones, and the days when I used to be involved in the Championship, it was always the older guys that didn't really want to get out and loan.
But the Championship now is the Championship, you know, for want of a better expression, and one that I don't like to use, is the Premier League 2, really.
Yeah.
In anything but financial distribution. But if you look at the calibre of clubs in there, you look at them and you think Aston Villa. You know, European champions. Nottingham Forest, European champions. You look at Leeds United, European Cup semi-finalists. Not so many years ago.
Should have been European champions.
Should have been European champions. Perhaps.
Did you mess it up?
Oh, do us a favour. How old do you think I am?
When they
played Bayern Munich,
and the match was bent.
And also, Peter Lorimer scored a magnificent goal, and some guys brought to somebody offside and that kind of stuff.
And Rhodes' goal for them was itself on him.
Oh, just a second.
Yeah.
What evidence have you got of that?
No, you said people like you and Aguero. Well, you become a lawyer in your spare time. Have you? Are you going to night school?
Just coming away with stuff here now. You're trying to say that Leeds, but
I remember in the run up to that league that European Cup final in '76, Spurs were on the verge of being relegated, and Leeds came on I think quite near the actual European Cup final, and Spurs needed the points to stay in the old First Division. And Spurs scored, and then they scored again, and the Leeds players looked at each other. Then Peter Lorimer wrapped one in from an adjacent postal district, as if to say to the Spurs, "Now hang on, don't get too tasty here. We're doing your service here." And everybody kind of backed off from the game a little bit after that, because Leeds, of course, were miles the better team, but they were looking after themselves with the big game coming up.
But by the way, going to the original genesis of this question, which was about Leeds United and Norwich City are a very good side, and they've been scoring goals for fun. A lot of them very late in games. They've made an interesting managerial appointment. When I saw 2 years ago, I just thought, what's this all about? Because he just doesn't seem to have the chutzpah that you think from a manager.
And I'll tell you what, Gordon would want me to say this, of course. There's been times when it hasn't quite been clicking for Norwich.
No, more than that.
And you could see crowds getting unsettled, and they've stuck with him.
They have.
And his methods have gradually changed the team.
Very much so.
And here we are, they're reaping the benefits.
Coming from the Dortmund school of coaching, isn't it?
Yeah, which is now the fashionable place to go and get your coaches from, absolutely.
Well, I mean, they're the second highest scorers in the division, you know. You know, you look at that and say the only one that scored more goals are West Bromwich Albion, and you look at Norwich and you turn around and say, to me, that's not a surprise result. That's not a freak result going to Leeds and beating them 3-1. That's just Norwich are in a rich vein of form.
Well, what surprises me is that they've conceded 39 goals in 30 games and are still top of that league. Again, that's something to do with the incredible competitiveness of it. Let's find out how the second half's about 15 minutes old at the London Stadium. West Ham playing table-topping Liverpool, watching the Talk Sport. Ian Abrahams.
An hour gone, West Ham 1, Liverpool 1. Mane's goal on 22 minutes, cancelled out by the goal for West Ham by Mikel Antonio on 28 minutes. And West Ham really have had the better of it since then. Declan Rice in the first half could and arguably should have scored. And in the second half as well, West Ham with the best chance of the game in the second period. Corner from the far side, Issa Diop, 6 yards out, got between Firmino and Mane and ahead of Van Dijk, but couldn't put his header on target, and then went wide of Alisson's goal. In fact, Alisson's goal has been peppered more than Fabianski's in this second period. 59,903 here tonight, and the moment could go go anybody's way. West Ham 1, Liverpool 1. Liverpool, though, have it by the byline. Just stick with it in case anything comes of this, because Salah's on the ball on the edge of the area. Dragged back into the area. Still Salah. Salah goes to the far corner. Fabianski catches. West Ham 1, Liverpool 1.
It's always good hearing English football. 59,000. We bandied those figures around as though they don't mean anything. 59,000 people at a midweek football match. Fantastic.
It is.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Now, listen, we talked about Norwich and Leeds a lot. I'd like to come back in a few seconds' time. I think everybody down to Swansea, who are in the bottom half of the Championship, still has a chance of making either automatic promotion or the playoffs. I'm going to talk about Tony Pulis and what he's doing at Middlesbrough. It would be wrong to ignore Sheffield United and West Bromwich Albion, and I'll be asking my two experts here, one of them in the running to be Sports Pundit of the Year. Who else might be coming up out of this division? I mean, for all, Simon, I know you've had some dealings with them in recent months. For all the moaning of the Aston Villa fans, you'd think they were third bottom, wouldn't you? They're only 4 points off of the playoff places as well. Everybody's got a chance. We'll talk more about the Championship very soon here on Kickoff.
For all you sale shoppers, number crunchers and queue hoppers, time's running out to get 30% off our award-winning fibre in the TalkTalk sale. We'll guarantee no mid-contract price rises on your broadband for 2 years. There's no setup fee, and we'll give you our great connection guarantee, so you can leave in your first 30 days if you don't love your new fibre. Plus, you'll get our powerful Wi-Fi hub with our strongest signal yet. So for all you savvy savers, don't miss 30% off totally unlimited fibre in the TalkTalk sale. Hurry, offer ends 7th of February. Search TalkTalk Fibre. TalkTalk, fairer broadband for everyone. T's and C's apply.
When I was 16, school was the last place I wanted to be. I'd lost my dad years earlier and everything became overwhelming. But my teacher, she didn't want my past to hold me back. She taught me that in good times and bad, you need the courage to go on. And for my dad, I did.
Teaching. Every lesson shapes a life. Get free one-to-one support with our teacher training advisors. With years of teaching experience, they understand the application process inside out. Subject to eligibility. Search Get Into Teaching.
Get a knockout deal with Adrian Flux, the van insurance specialists. Whether you drive a pickup or a tipper, get the best deal over the phone today on 08000 856 365. Adrian Flux Van Insurance. Call 08000 856 365 or search Flux Van. Adrian Flux Insurance. There's a reason we're What Van Insurer of the Year. 08000 856 365. Adrian Flux Van Insurance. Authorised and regulated by the Financial Conduct Authority.
At Volkswagen Commercial Vehicles, we know that when you've got your own business, there are all manner of things that keep you up at night. Is it too soon to think of expanding? Should we redesign our website? How can I afford the initial payment for a new van? Well, that's one thing you can cross off the worry list, because you can now pick up a new Volkswagen Caddy with no upfront payment. The Volkswagen Caddy, from £199 a month and absolutely nothing to pay up front on contract hire. Volkswagen Commercial Vehicles. Incredible offers to help your business thrive. Working with you. Business users only, excluding VAT at 20%, over 48 months, no initial rental. T's and C's apply. No ownership until the 31st of March 2019. Volkswagen Finance.
As another massive weekend of football approaches, make sure you're ahead of the game with Jim White's Weekend Football Preview every Friday morning from 10 on TalkSport with Football Index. It's your essential preview of all the weekend's big matches, featuring an in-depth analysis of who's on form.
What a goal!
And who might underperform.
Can you believe it?
Don't miss Jim White's Weekend Football Preview every Friday morning from 10 on TalkSport with Football Index, the football stock market. Sign up today at footballindex.co.uk. 18 plus, please gamble responsibly.
Good day to you. I've just popped in to suggest that you avail yourself of TalkSport 2's Tuesday night FA Cup 4th round replay football offering. It's none other than Her Majesty the Queen's Park Rangers versus Portsmouth, or Pompey as I believe they're colloquially known. Coverage from 6, kick-off 7:45 on TalkSport 2. Splendid. As you were.
Coming up in about 40 minutes' time here on TalkSport, your first chance to react to tonight's game at the London Stadium, plus all the usual wonderful things that happen on a Monday night on the Sports Bar with Andy Goldstein and Jason Cundy, the A-team back together again.
Guten Tag.
Tag yourself. You've been in Germany, haven't you?
Yes, that's it. That's
I
where it
saw
ends.
you on the box doing snooker.
Thank you. Yes, I loved it. It's fantastic.
You were just saying, sorry, very quickly, that the German people, although they have no snooker clubs and no snooker culture, love the game.
Yeah, incredible. 2,500 people on a daily basis for 2 sessions, one table, going to see the game play. It was incredible. Probably the best snooker atmosphere I've ever seen. And that goes back to when snooker was played at the Conference Centre years ago for the Masters. Just unbelievable experience for the last week I've been there. Yeah, it's been great.
Brilliant. And what are you going to do for us in the next, from 10 o'clock onwards?
Yes, we're going to be taking calls on this one. Hopefully it stays like this, even more hopefully, because I'm a United fan that West Ham managed to pick up all 3 points, but either way we'll be at hand to
Can I ask you a question? As a Manchester United fan,
yes.
Liverpool haven't won the title since dinosaurs roamed the earth.
Yeah.
You can't really be against them winning the title, can you? You don't even remember them winning the blinking title, do you?
So is your question, as a Man United fan, do you want Liverpool to win the title?
What difference does it make to you?
It's
if you don't win it?
The same as if Arsenal won the league to you.
I've had to swallow that time
but
and time again.
you don't want them to, do you?
No. No, I don't.
I rest my case.
No, but you...
How can I want Liverpool to win the... Liverpool have got, I think, 18 titles.
Yeah, you've got...
Right. Man City have got 5... I'd rather a little club wins another one.
And you're calling Manchester City a little club, are you?
In terms of league title wins, they are.
Okay.
I don't want Liverpool.
08717 223 from 10 o'clock.
I don't want Liverpool to win the title.
All right. Well, this has been a very, very good game. They're not there by no means the better side.
West Ham have had chance after chance after chance. So listen, we'll be at hand.
I should make the point. It's still 1-1 at the present moment.
We've got back pages of Ralph Ellington's in every hour. We've got boxing chat as well. We've got the Midnight Train to Madness. We've got Lampard v Gerrard and a transfer chat. Oh no, the transfer window's closed.
No, still do it though. Still do it.
Are we still doing it?
Yeah, tradition. Yeah, just do it.
Okay, can you still fax now and it goes through? Is it too late?
Yeah.
Chinese window's still open, so you could technically speak
there you go.
it.
That's what I meant.
Yeah.
Excellent works. I knew you're
Who'll be off to China? That'll be Andy.
There you go. That's
and
why
Jason. It should be brilliant.
Thanks,
just 35 minutes has go before that comes along. Looking at the rest of this championship, I mean, Sam, I know that you know something about this because every now and again, people. I hope I'm not laying out a confidence here. Your expertise about how football clubs are run, should be run, and could be run is called upon, and particularly, I think, since your media profile became so much higher. Nominated as Sports Pundit of the Year and all the rest of it. And I know for a fact that you've looked at least 2 of these clubs in recent times.
Yes.
So, looking at this table, I'm not wrong. There's right down to Swansea. I know it's Hugh Jenkins has packed it in. And you must know Hugh, I guess.
Yeah, I do.
Tell me about that. But right down to Swansea, they'll all be looking and saying, we can do this. We can still get back into the Premier League.
Look, when you start getting past 2 points a game as a minimum requirement, then you are out of the running, in my view, and my experience of being in a
stats there for you, Gordon. Proper stats.
Proper stats, but
not made up stuff that's in the back of your head.
If you look at the the average sort of points total that gets you into the top 6 and into the playoffs, it's in and around 71 to 75 points. So
that's to get into 6th, 5th.
That's to get into 6th. I think we got in there in 2004 with 73. And I think if you look over the years, somewhere between 71 and 75 tends to be the average. So if you look at all of those teams that you've just mentioned, it's all within their gift to have that opportunity.
To have a really good run.
To have a good run. Yeah. And that means that the Aston Villas of the world that are finding their head under new management and starting to get in a different direction than perhaps the one that Steve was taking them on, still have more than an opportunity. And the derbies with the Frank Lampards, and as we spoke about with Strax over there, Birmingham City, and Gary Monk, who seems to do a reasonable job everywhere he goes. But it's a very interesting division because, as you say, it can go. I think probably the step-off point is Swansea are at the very bottom.
They would require a really tremendous run. Yeah. Let me ask you about 2 clubs there then, Gordon. Or you? I don't mind who orders this. Completely different in some ways. Middlesbrough always appointing high-profile managers. Always. Well, no, they had Gordon Strachan for a brief period of their existence, didn't they? You realise that...
Carry on, lads.
He made that joke, not me. Might make a note down. Leslie will be taking note,
It'll be coming in a minute.
I wasn't talking about him. I was talking about Karanka. I wasn't talking about Strax.
Middlesbrough appoint high-profile managers. They tend to back their manager with money. The same has happened again. Did that happen for you? Did you get money?
Yep. Absolutely.
Bristol City, on the other hand... just 3 points behind them. I'm not sure how they do it, but they've got a very tidy football team. Talk to me about Middlesbrough. Would Tony Pulis be an adornment back in the Premier League?
I'll just go back to Bristol City. Remember when Blackpool went up?
Yes. With Ian Holloway,
yeah, and he says he only wanted a small squad because he couldn't buy the big players, couldn't have the money, so he kept a tight knit squad and didn't panic, kept them all together. And if somebody played out of position,
So be it.
He would be it. They move about. They wouldn't say if a right back got injured and you get one. They'd move somebody about. So it kept that great team spirit, and I think that's what Bristol City got. Obviously, they've got a good coach, good backroom staff, and all the rest of it, and players that they've worked with. Different. Middlesbrough are different. They have money to buy, and they try and get up that way with a good coach as well. But the money's there for them. It shows you there's different ways of getting up from this league.
You know how much abuse Tony Pulis has had over the years. Would he, when he comes back to the Premier League, will people be moaning and groaning, or is he an adornment to the Premier League?
I think he's a very capable Premier League manager. I think you've got to look at the job he did for Crystal Palace when he came into Crystal Palace, 3-4 years ago, which everybody else has benefited from to some extent because Tony stabilised Palace and had his issues and challenges with the incumbent owners there. But I think he is no doubt a Premier League manager. Whether you like his brand of football, people have this in this day and age. I think sometimes have misguided perceptions about what brand of football can be really played by every team. And there's only a few teams that can play a certain style of football that's going to be effective in the Premier League.
This is Gordon's front and centre thing of the argument about playing out from the back and all the rest of it. You have to have magnificent footballers to make it happen sensibly.
But I think even football fans these days are not worried about passing for the goalkeeper. I don't think they do. I think what fans want to see is their team, when it starts, we want to win the game. And we want crosses, we want shots, and we want, because we come from everyone works hard during the week. We work in factories. We come here for a bit of, entertainment.
And
to
it's
lose
not cheap
ourselves.
entertainment
and
anymore.
It's not cheap. That's what they want. They want to see something that's giving them
having a go.
But they also understand when you play the top 5-6 teams again, you have to be realistic. You can't go gung-ho. But I think they're actually saying with the rest, I think we're all as good as one another and we should have a go at this.
Look at City, the goal that Arsenal conceded, the first goal. Alex Iwobi, who's having a pretty good season, I think, he gets that ball on the corner of the penalty area and he stands staring for some imaginary pass that he's going to make to play the ball out from the back.
Yeah, that
needed to go into.
I heard Graham talking about that when he was on there, but I don't think he could get his head up to see where he was passing.
Then kick it sideways off the pitch.
To be fair, we coach players and say, listen, and especially at top teams, there's a guy 5 yards, give it to him, and he looks after it. So we pass it. So you trust that's what the top teams do. And Graham's saying, well, just boot it clear. But I don't even thought he could get his foot behind it to get rid of it. I think the ball was stuck underneath him.
Don't stand there like you're hypnotised.
No, but be brave on it and don't lose it and get to somebody else and you take a foul or whatever. And by the way, there's a number of times when players are like that and they get out from there and you get counter-attacks.
Yep, and you get a round of applause from the crowd as well.
And you go and score a goal for there. So you have to be brave when you get on the ball.
Believe it or not, another big chance for West Ham at the London Stadium. Ian Abrahams.
74 gone. West Ham 1, Liverpool 1. Liverpool have earned some luck tonight, lived on their fingernails. West Ham with a brilliant chance. Snodgrass run down the left-hand side. Got it into Anderson. Just bobbled off him. 15 yards out. Fell for Mark Noble. And he's just hit it with his right foot over the top of Alisson's crossbar. Divock Origi is coming on now for Firmino. We've already got Shaqiri on for Adam Lallana. Diop's had a header in this second half that could have at least, or should have at least, tested Alisson. In fact, throughout the whole game, West Ham had by far the better chances. I think if you offered Liverpool a point now to leave East London and extend their lead at the top of the Premier League to 3 points, they probably would take it. Quarter of an hour to go. West Ham 1, Liverpool 1.
I know I'm supposed to go to a break, but we really would be derelict of our duty if we didn't, in this chat we've been doing. West Brom are fourth, but we haven't even mentioned Sheffield United and Chris Wilder and the work they're doing in third place there in the Championship. They're now just 3 points off the top two.
Excellent, and it's not just at this club. He's done it at Oxford and Northampton. And in this day and age where when you first start out as management, you think, and this is serious, you must stay in the game to make a living for your family, because I'm sure that when he first took his management, I'm sure he didn't have enough money to retire. He has to stay in there. Now, most of us at that point we go, need to play it safe. No, he's went for it. And if you watch his teams, the centre halves popping up everywhere. So that is as brave as Guardiola saying put Fernandinho there and play him there, because they can always recover from it. But he's taken chances at an early stage in his career, which I think if he gets a bigger job, I'm sorry about that Sheffield United, what I'm talking about, up there.
They know what you mean.
Yeah, then that's saying this man can take chances. This man backs himself.
Well, we'll soon know, won't we? The next mid-table, excuse the expression, Premier League manager that they're looking for. Will they go for Chris Wilder or the person who sells the ice cream at Dortmund?
Pour yourself some mid-afternoon mirth with Oxby and Jacobs on TalkSport with Green King. Unmissable live sports talk, great company and laughs on draft. It's time, gentlemen, for the nation's favourite afternoon social speakeasy. With an atmosphere you can't get at home. Oxby and Jacobs, tomorrow afternoon from 1 on TalkSport with Green King, your home of pub sport. Download the Green King season ticket app now. For 3 pints, 10% off and great offers. 18 plus, drink aware.
The Vodafone Big Winter Sale is still on. Don't miss out on amazing smartphone, SIM-only, home broadband and tablet offers. Hurry, the Vodafone Big Winter Sale ends 4th of February. Go online or in-store today. The future is exciting. Ready? Vodafone. Minimum term agreement, credit check and RPI increase apply. See vodafone.co.uk/terms.
Ken and Shirley have treated themselves to a change of car. Shirley visited My Car Check before she paid a penny. But Ken didn't need to. He knows best. They're on the road. It's a lovely little runner. With details of finance, write-offs, thefts, MOTs and more, they had the key information needed to buy with care and drive with peace of mind. Visit mycarcheck.com or text the reg to 83600 and be car confident. Text costs 2 times £1.50 plus usual network charges. Purchase required for full online or in-app checks.
Business owners, we know how hard you work for your business. At Santander, we think it's time you got something back. Get cash back with a new Santander 123 Business Current Account. It's business, but not as usual. Cash back up to £300 annually on credit turnover. Monthly fee £12.50. For UK-based companies with up to 2 directors, owners or partners aged 18 plus. T's and C's apply.
All alone at the back post. Keeper's nowhere. Surely? No! It was an absolute sitter and he's put it wide.
Some opportunities you can't miss, like a chance to try your bet with ComeOn.com. Build your own same-game multi-bet with cards, corners, scorers, scorelines and more.
Use your head!
ComeOn.com. Bet £10, get a £10 free bet. 18 plus. BeGamblerAware.org. Bet responsibly at ComeOn.com. New UK mainland customers only. Minimum £10 bet on odds of 1.8 or more qualifies for £10 free bet. Terms apply.
Picture a group of teenagers on the bikes at night. Hoods up, heads down, moving as one. What do you see? A gang to be avoided? Or do you see what we see? People working together to hone their skills. There are troops training armies around the world who need that right now. Your army needs you. Find where you belong. Sedge Army Jobs.
Hello, broadcaster of excellence and charm, Jim White here. Right now, I'm about to take a killer putt as part of a pro celebrity 4-ball on a famous London golf course I can't mention for copyright reasons. Beautiful putt. Did anyone catch that in film by any chance? But never mind that. Get off the green and back in the white. Jim White, tomorrow morning from 10 on Talk Sport. Oh, sorry, madam.
Well, this show, of course, which contains at least one major nomination for a major award coming up very soon, has been regarded as an oasis of sanity and brotherly love, human love, on the otherwise very, very scratchy planet Talk Sport. But I'm afraid all that has broken down because our producer, who, let's be fair, spent the last 2.5 hours filing his nails, has suddenly burst into action and brought in the stats regarding Sergio Aguero and his availability and selectability in his early days of Pep Guardiola's reign at Manchester City. And I think it's fair to say, Gordon Strachan, it does prove Simon absolutely right, yes?
Well,
it does, doesn't it?
Are you looking at the same things I'm looking at?
Yeah. Well, what were you arguing about? I thought you were just apologising to him.
No. No. Your big fella here, the pundit of the year, has got it all wrong. Because the first season when Guardiola's there, where they didn't want him to play, he started 31 games in the league. The next season when he bedded in, the next season when he bedded in, where Guardiola loved him, he only started 25 games.
He's injured.
How do you've just made that up
No, it's a fact.
and his season where he didn't like him, he scored 20 goals in the Premier League with 31 games.
We've got articles with quotes here from Guardiola admitting the fact that it may be likely that Aguero could be sold.
No.
Yes, of course, it's here in my very hand.
Asked if Aguero would still be at City next season.
I feel like Neville Chamberlain.
He
I have
said,
a piece of paper in
you
my
see
hand
what happened to his piece of paper, didn't you?
But no,
let me read. I won't do.
Oh, wait a minute. No, just look at the stats, because we started this with stats.
About yeah.
The argument was with stats.
Yes.
You guys
I use stats for yardage, about how much you pressed the opposition.
Stats. The stats which you produced are proving me right. The first season when Guardiola went there, where you said you wanted to get rid of him.
Right. You contested his opinion that he didn't fancy him. You didn't go and substantiate. You said, how do you know that?
Your stats
you were neutral, were you?
No, I was on your side.
Okay.
You can't be neutral. You're the pundit of the year.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right.
Leave it alone.
I'm happy to say that he doesn't seem to have been unselected quite as often as I imagined he had been. However, this is a quote from Guardiola. Asked if Aguero would still be at City next season, he said, "At the end of the season, I don't know. I know how difficult it is to find top goal scorers. I would like him to stay, but I don't know what is going to happen. Even in my career, I didn't know what would happen at the end of the season. I was clear every time we spoke with Sergio from the beginning. I know his strengths." That's not saying he's the best player in the Premier League.
No.
I'm going to keep him.
I rest my case.
I rest my case. Your case was on stats, no quotes.
No, stats were there to support this case.
31 games in the Premier League when you said he didn't fancy him. The next year when he says he established himself, worked harder, he got less games.
And 50% of those games he was either subbed on or subbed off.
No, it's not. It's only
yes,
6.
it is.
6 and 31.
6 and 8.
Subbed
on, subbed off. So he either started as a sub or he came off. So 50% of the games.
Don't stop. Carry on. I'll get a report from the last 10 minutes at the London Stadium. You two work out what the stats actually mean. How's it going, Ian Abrahams?
7.5 to go still. West Ham 1, Liverpool 1. Mane's goal cancelled out by Antonio, both in the first half. Liverpool now have bought on Shaqiri and Origi. West Ham have bought on Obiang for Noble and Carroll for Hernandez, as Liverpool have it with Salah edge of the penalty area, looking to work an opportunity, but Diop is across and West Ham snuff out the danger temporarily at least. But Liverpool now hunting down this winner, which would increase their lead at the top of the table to 5 points. 7 to go. West Ham 1, Liverpool 1.
Ian, we spoke at the start of the evening about the sort of schizophrenic nature, if that's the right word, of West Ham. What we're seeing tonight from them, whatever the result turns out to be, we're seeing, I think, a tremendous performance by the Londoners.
I think they've been brilliant. I think they've been absolutely sensational. I think man of the match is either Anderson or Snodgrass, but I guarantee you they go to Palace on Saturday, get turned over 3-0 and have their tummies tickled.
Simon thinks so as well.
It is. That's the way, and that is what infuriates you as a fan of a team like West Ham. There are others in the Premier League that are just the same. They'll put up this kind of display tonight where they've been fantastic. They've created half a dozen really good chances, and on another night, could have absolutely, walloped Liverpool, and yet they'll go to Palace on Saturday and they'll just roll over and say, "Come on, tickle my tummy," and that's what's happening in the last month.
You're obsessed with tummy tickling, aren't you?
No, but that's what's happening in the last month.
Come on, Moose, bring out your dead. Be positive.
I'm not being positive. If I was there's a really good run by Liverpool. No, I'm not being positive because I've seen this team surrender at Bournemouth, hoist the white flag at Wolves, and literally be embarrassing at Wimbledon. Now, if they'd have put in even half the display at those 3 games that they put in tonight, they would probably be trying to get in the top 6 and in the next round of the FA Cup preparing to host Millwall.
Thank you very, very much indeed. We'll keep you across the store. But I suppose with added on time, probably another 10 minutes of play to go there. When we come back, we'll have a look at football in Scotland and that rugby union at the weekend, which left me, sucking a thoughtful tooth, shall we say, about Ireland's prospect in the World Cup and thinking maybe England are not quite the deadbeats everyone said they were.
Welcome back, Vinny.
I'm Vinny Jones.
And I'm Danny Deacon.
We got a great flooring company called Deacon Jones Fine Flooring. We're the dogs.
Don't you mean the mutts, Vin?
Same thing, Dan. Upstairs for thinking, downstairs for dancing. Deacon Jones Fine Flooring. Find us in your nearest high street carpet shops or on our website.
DeaconJones.co.uk. We're the dogs.
Now you're thinking, Dan boy. Deacon Jones Fine Flooring for all your carpet, vinyl and all other floor coverings.
Taking back to Eve Road, cabby.
DeaconJones.co.uk for all your floor coverings from me.
And me.
Being a gnome isn't easy. All those knocks and scrapes. Once, I was minding my own business, then wham! Football snapped me arm clean off. Alfonso's in bits. Walter disappeared. Of course, they never catch anyone. But the new High View outdoor security camera has motion detection, two-way audio and night vision. We're saved!
Protect your gnomes and your home from your phone. Search Hive to discover more. Hive, let's get living.
EU exit.
My business. Plan.
Exports.
The facts.
Leaving the EU on the 29th of March may mean your business needs to prepare for change. Even if you think your business won't be affected, it's worth double-checking. To help you prepare your business, you can find guidance and up-to-date information at gov.uk/EU exit.
He's only been on the pitch for a second. What a performance from the substitute. Every great team needs a super sub, someone ready to slot in when they're needed. That's why if your van is off the road needing warranty work of more than 3 hours, we'll arrange a courtesy van to keep your business moving. Your very own super sub. Get your team back on track. Renault Pro Plus, now with 0% hire purchase finance. Business users only. Renault Finance hire purchase subject to status. Orders by 31st of March. Registrations by 30th of June. T's and C's apply. Visit renault.co.uk/commitment.
Hey, nice tattoo work, Jade. But you know what really stings? HMRC are changing the way small businesses like yours file your taxes. Crazy, right? Your job isn't doing detailed tax stuff, it's inking art on body parts. With QuickBooks, you can snap, sort and store tax-deductible receipts. It's the easy way to get ready for making tax digital. You shouldn't suffer for your art, Jade. That's your customer's job.
QuickBooks, backing you. Visit quickbooks.co.uk to get started.
Your gut says you've got a good feeling about the football this weekend. But gut instinct is nothing without your smarts. Listen to Talk Sport every weekend and get all the latest form and odds on all the big matches from Betfair's betting expert before you go with your gut. Make sure you got all the smarts you need with the Form Zone. Throughout the weekend, every weekend, on Talk Sport with Betfair, where gut instinct meets smarts. 18+, begambleaware.org.
The rows, the rivalries, the run-ins.
This is remarkable.
Kick off on Talk Sport.
I'll stop it.
Yeah, still 1-1 at the London Stadium with about 3 minutes of normal time to go. There will, of course, be the traditional 3 or 4 minutes of added on time, but at the moment it's West Ham 1, Liverpool 1. You're listening to the final section of Kick-Off. It's still the row goes on about Sergio Aguero. And Simon, you were already mostly right. Now you're completely right, because if you look at the first half of that first season,
exactly right.
He was being subbed on and off the whole time.
You've got no stats for that. You've
got them in front of you.
In 19 games, which is the half of the season in 16-17, he was substituted on or off 14 times. That's what those figures say. So that's like a 70% sub ratio.
I'm framing this and he sent it to you too for Christmas.
Are you really so desperate, Gordon, for a victory on the show that you would actually bend the truth?
I've got it in front of me. You asked for stats. The stats,
and I've got them, and I've interpreted them for you. And 14 substitutes. Subbed on, subbed off, out of the first 19 games.
And the season where
the first 19 games are where those 14 substitutes come in.
Where have you made that? Where does he see that?
Because I've looked into it.
No, you've not looked into it.
I have. I've evaluated. I've gone deeper, more forensically.
Like the stats you started
No.
All right, Gordon, let me ask you this question. We'll return to Scottish football for a couple of minutes.
Thank goodness.
Yep, and which is more surprising after the weekend, that Celtic are now 6 points clear in the Scottish Premier League, or that Rangers got 4 penalties in a game?
Well, the 4 penalties is strange in any game. But when you play, no disrespect to Sunderland and teams like that who go to Celtic Park and Ibrox, but
it's a hell of a job they've got their hands there, isn't it?
It's hard work for these guys to go there, and invariably there's so much action round the box.
So much. Yeah, the away team defends their box.
Yeah, it's and to be fair, and when you talk about Defoe and Morelos and Davis, these guys are just about sharper.
They're a cut above, aren't they?
The Sunderland guys, and they generally think they're going for tackles, they've got to win, and they don't make it. And saying that, I think there's a couple that if you had VAR, you probably wouldn't give them.
Yeah, because there was the one of the 2 tackles where Jermaine went down. He wasn't even looking for a foul, was he? When Defoe went down, and the referee pointed to the spot.
I thought the first one was a penalty. The second one could have been anything.
Probably not.
Because I don't think the guy moved his foot or any part of his body towards Jermaine.
Then there was a foul outside the box, so they interpreted that rule where you're allowed to carry on inside the box, and the handball looked to me to be outside the penalty area.
Yeah, so
they all got given.
And then probably Stephen would say that there was a fifth one that he missed, but I think getting 4's
5
quite
penalties.
adequate. Getting 4 out of 5 is not bad.
So Celtic now, after 24 games, are this 6 points clear?
Yep.
I mean, you'd look at their squad and you say they ought to be. But
There's a big game coming, Danny, on Wednesday. Aberdeen versus Rangers. A big game. And I think whoever loses that is out the title race.
Right. I mean, you still think Rangers are still in the title race, and Aberdeen,
at this moment,
yes, yeah.
But one of them will be out it.
Yep.
On Wednesday.
Okay, listen. Thank you very much. Thank you very much indeed for that. Let's go over for the last few minutes of the game at the London Stadium. The clock has turned red. They're into 3 minutes of added on time. Let's get back to Ian Abrahams.
We've played a minute already. West Ham 1, Liverpool 1. Liverpool ahead on 22 minutes. Major controversy over the goal, though. Mane turned the up to score, but Milner's ball in from the right-hand side. The linesman wasn't even in line with the last West Ham defender. He wasn't even looking at Milner, who was yards offside when he put the ball in. 6 minutes later, West Ham, a training ground routine free kick involving Snodgrass and Anderson, whose ball to Antonio saw the West Ham man from 15 yards far in via the far post. West Ham with a catalogue of chances. First and second half, probably the best of the first half ones to Rice with a header 10 yards unmarked, which he put over in the second half. Diop 6. Straight to Andy Carroll, but Carroll can't capitalise, and Van Dijk gets it back to Alisson. And Liverpool have got one last chance. City play Wednesday at Everton. Inside the centre circle, just inside the West Ham half. Liverpool still bring it forward, but again West Ham through Rice, who's been brilliant tonight as well. Get the ball out to the far side of the field. Antonio can't make too much headway, and Liverpool maybe now with Robertson down the left-hand side. 20 seconds to go. Not much time for Cato. Plays it square down the near side. Milner has it now on this near touchline. Milner with a chance to get the ball in. Comes off Cresswell's back, doesn't quite go to play for a throw. It does now. It should have been a West Ham throw, but it's gone Liverpool's way. Already thrown. Is straight at Fabianski, and that was a last-second chance to win it for Liverpool. It's gone. They won't win in East London. They won't score 4 again against West Ham because it's and the title race is most definitely on.
Gordon Strachan, does Origi have to score there?
Doesn't matter, he was offside.
But didn't matter earlier on. They're not counting.
Did they not give it offside?
I don't know.
I don't think he thought it was offside.
It was offside, but we've seen already tonight that doesn't mean anything.
Oh, yeah, it didn't matter in the first half. I mean, you know, I'm not going to denigrate the linesman on the far side, but put it this way: he should have been in line with the last West Ham defender, and he wasn't. He should have been looking at Milner, and he wasn't. He didn't do a lot right, did he, in that decision?
So basically, Moose, with this role, if Man City win on Wednesday, they go back top of the league, don't they?
On goal difference, yeah. And of course, it does bring Spurs. I know Spurs got a basic win every game in the last 14 games, but it now means Spurs are only 5 points behind Liverpool, if my maths are right, and they've still got to go to Anfield and the Etihad. It's a massive ask.
You say that like it's a good thing.
No, listen, I'm a neutral. I would love it if the last day of the season, 3 teams could win the league. Well, I don't want it all over and done with 2 weeks to go.
Thank you very much indeed, Ian, for lovely descriptions of the evening at the City of London, or whatever you call it, the London Stadium these days. West Ham London, that badge, it always gives me a little bit of a pain. Gordon, you're the only one in this room who's been through this. You know, West Ham, we said before the start, and Simon pointed out, they've got good footballers, and I said that sometimes they look terrible, sometimes they look very, very good. So you're not playing against a pub team. But how much it's fabled with fans? How much does tension affect teams in this run-in?
Oh, it's a lot, but it's not at that stage yet.
No, we're not
there
at
that stage
no.
yet. No. But what's proved tonight, we started with discussion of, it seemed to be that people think you have to be in the top 6 to enjoy yourself, and we were explaining that you don't, because this league is that good. There you have a team that's 12th against the top team, and it was a magnificent game. So, you know,
it's great fun to watch. I
don't know how many West Ham supporters are there, because we were saying, if you're not in the top 6, is it worthwhile turning up? Yes, it is worthwhile turning up, because
maybe 60,000 folk for that game.
60,000, maybe 4,000 Liverpool supporters.
Yep.
56.
Yep.
Yeah, but there might have not been 60,000 if they were playing Brighton strikes. There's a huge attendance at that game and a midweek game because it's Liverpool who are in the top 6
versus one of the teams in the middle can still create a great atmosphere, great fun, great football.
Granted.
What is? I mean, if you're a manager, and Pellegrini, when they play like that, and the West Ham is beginning to they
to happen at Wimbledon, and I think they'll be having a real good look at themselves and say, how did we allow that to happen?
No disrespect to West Ham, but what is this last 2 opportunities that Liverpool have had against Leicester and West Ham tell you about where Liverpool are? Because I felt last week, and I'm more interested in your opinion, that if they'd have won that game, it would have really put their foot on Man City's throat, and they didn't. They drew it, and they've done it again tonight, which has now put Man City back into a psychological situation where they can go
looking and going, this lot are playing great over it.
Yep.
But you know, it's a strange thing, this football. You know, and probably they'll want to play next game and win playing poorly. Something strange like that will happen. Now that's the great thing about football.
It didn't look good tonight, did it, Liverpool?
But it's amazing what
I think West Ham just
it's amazing
played
what
very
one
well.
goal can make a difference. Because to poke it somewhere, and it's not an easy one. You know, not an easy one.
I've been instructed, because we've gone through 2 hours and 54 minutes of the programme, I've been instructed to ask you both, do you think Tottenham are in the race for the title?
Yeah.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, I do.
Why don't you think so?
I just don't think Tottenham... Well, I say no, I don't think so, because it's my default setting. Not because I don't have a great deal of appreciation for Tottenham, but because I've got Liverpool and Man City in my mind's eye. But watching Liverpool tonight and watching the last 2 results, and I don't know the mechanics behind the Leicester game, but watching what I saw tonight, and it might just be that West Ham were better, I'm looking at it thinking Liverpool and Man City are far better than Tottenham in my view. But on that performance tonight, Liverpool are not far better than Tottenham. Man City at this moment in time are the form side, which is interesting because they've had their wobble at a time when it might not be quite as prevalent.
They're also course and distance winners, which I think counts a little bit as well.
Going back to Tottenham, the reason why I say Tottenham is I think Harry Kane's got to come back.
Yep.
And I do want them to be involved because I think they've got 3 or 4 of the best players in the world playing, and I think they should be involved in a championship race.
Yeah, okay, well, look, it's easy for me. I can look at it and say they've got to go to Chelsea, they've got to go to Liverpool, they've got to go to Manchester City. On the other hand, Leicester, when they had to go to places, they went and won those games, you know. So
I don't think Tottenham will be fazed by that.
No.
Seriously, I don't think they'll be fazed with their 3 games.
No, because they're so... I mean, the only advantage of being that hellhole in Wembley for 2 years is that they're very good on the road now. They don't have any home games. They've found a way to play without ever having that
advantage. It depends,
advantage.
you know, when Kane comes back, how quickly he gets up to speed again.
Yeah.
Because when's he back? March?
They're saying he might be back in the next couple of weeks, at least involved on the bench against Dortmund.
Next week?
13th we play Dortmund, and that's
which is next Wednesday week, isn't it?
It is, yeah. I mean, he did all that. He did the Instagram thing of him bouncing around his own garden in Essex. But bouncing around a garden is one thing. Playing against Borussia Dortmund is entirely
different,
another. Let's not be stupid about that. Listen, thank you very much for listening to any or all of this edition of Kickoff. If you've enjoyed listening as much as we've enjoyed doing it, then you've had a blast. We've had a really good time. Gordon Strachan is now so excited that he's won an argument against Simon Jordan and myself that he's booking a bus for an open-top bus parade around the studio. So you enjoyed yourself. Don't mind him. He's not the one with the nomination. Don't mind him at all.
Thank you, mate. That's right.
Listen, thank you. I'm back here on TalkSport next Friday for the season ticket at 7 o'clock in the evening. When are you next back?
Wednesday with Jim.
And thank you. And you're only allowed.
Give us a shout, lads.
Who knows? You're only allowed on this show. I know. That's how it works. Don't forget, coming up next here, and again, thank you all for listening. I'm delighted to say it's Andy and Jason, and your first chance to talk about that game at West Ham and the sports bar.
All this week from 6, Alan Brazil is swapping muesli for moolah, shreddies for reddies, and bacon rolls for bank rolls. Boost your bank account at breakfast when we play Top of the Drops on TalkSport with Selco. Race against the clock name.
Time to join the millions of people that meet happy with Zoom video conferencing. With stunning HD video, crisp audio, and instant wireless sharing across any mobile, tablet, or desktop device. But the best thing about Zoom? It just works. To set up your free account today, that's zoom.us. Zoom video conferencing.
The work van. Functional, trusted, vital. But what about advanced, desirable, distinctive? Introducing the all-new Peugeot Partner with innovative surround rear vision and the acclaimed Peugeot iCockpit teamed up with a payload of up to a ton and room for 2 Euro pallets. It's more than a work van, it's a partner. Voted What Van LCV of the Year and International Van of the Year 2019. Master the impossible. Experience all new Partner and drive it for yourself at your local Peugeot dealer. Discover more at business.peugeot.co.uk.
Most radio adverts begin in a pristine recording studio, but not this one. We're recording on the streets of central London, polluted by toxic air. Because there's no better place to tell you that the Central London ultra-low emission zone is coming on the 8th of April this year. It will apply 24 hours a day, every day of the year, in the same area as the congestion charge zone. Unless your lorry, bus, coach or specialist vehicle meets the new stricter emission standards, you will have to pay the £100 daily charge. Search ULEZ to check your vehicle and see if you need to pay. To the Mayor of London and TfL, every journey matters.
From anthropology to zoology, philosophy to politics, the Times Literary Supplement covers much more than just literature, with stimulating comment from writers like Mary Beard and David Baddiel. Subscribe to the Complete Works Pack today and get the print edition delivered every week. Plus, enjoy unrestricted access to the Times Literary Supplement online and an ever-growing podcast library. The Times Literary Supplement, nourishing readers' minds for over 100 years. Search for the Times Literary Supplement today.
Online, on your mobile and on DAB digital radio. This is Talk Sport.
Next up, live on National Radio, is you, the football fans. So much to talk about. 08717 223344. Obviously, we'll begin with your calls on tonight's game from the London Stadium that saw Liverpool drop another 2 points. That's 4 points dropped in the last 2 games. Are cracks starting to appear? And at the end of the game, even though Liverpool's goal was clearly offside, Jurgen Klopp having a pop at the referee after. Reminds us a bit of Kevin Keegan. Does it or not? 08717 223344. And West Ham fans, phone up and talk about your side. Brilliant performance, heroic. You could have won the game. You had a lot of chances as well. So West Ham Liverpool fans, 08717 223344. And we'll be asking this question. Everton fans, you play Man City on Wednesday night. Would you happily take defeat to Man City if it means it harms Liverpool's chances of winning the title? 08717 223344. Football fans, you can have your say on everything I've spoken about and more simply by picking up the phone and dialing in now. It's a busy night, it always is. Don't hang around. 08717 223344. Are the cracks starting to appear at Liverpool? We'll be taking your calls right after the news and sport headlines. This is Cole Hartley.
Thanks, Andy. More details have been released as police look for a missing student, and Liverpool held to a draw at the London Stadium.
Talk Sport.
Police are looking for Hull University student Libby Squire say they've not drawn up a more detailed timeline of her movements. The 21-year-old was reported missing after getting into a taxi outside a club in the city on Thursday night. Chief Superintendent Phil Ward from Humberside Police says she went home before being seen on CCTV.
Libby is then seen on CCTV on Beverley Road at 11:40 p.m.
He admitted looking for a black man to kill after a friend was raped. The actor says he's ashamed after he walked the streets with a type of baton. And Scotland Yard says it's looking for a man with a distinctive walk after white paint was splashed on memorials in London. A statue of Sir Winston Churchill was among 5 targeted last month.
Talk Sport weather.
With QuickFit, get ready for the cold weather with our free winter safety check and drive away happy.
Fog and frost is likely tonight. Tomorrow will start off dry and bright in the morning across the north, but it will gradually turn wet and windy.
Talk Sport. Sports update.
Now, Jurgen Klopp was ushered away from the referee at the end of tonight's 1-1 draw with West Ham. The Liverpool boss seemed to want to have a word with the official before a member of his backroom team intervened. West Ham will feel they should have got all 3 points, though. Sadio Mane's goal should have been ruled out because James Milner was offside in the build-up. City can go top and above Liverpool on goal difference. He's just continuing to take one game at a time.
These are times that we are doing okay, but we know that success doesn't last long unless you work for it, to maintain, to sustain the performance and achieve consistency is one of the hardest things to do in football. And we are really trying to aim for that.
TalkSport 2's been telling us Harry Kane could be back for Spurs' Champions League game with Borussia Dortmund next week. The striker's been sidelined with ankle ligament damage and was ruled out until March. And Fraser Brown and Murray McCallum have been added to Scotland's Six Nations game with Ireland. The front row pair replace Willem Nell and Sam Skinner, who are injured. Now there's more sport at talksport.com.
On DAB Digital Radio and 1089 and 1053 AM, the Sports Bar on Talk Sport.
All right, fans, here we go with the main.
The fun boy, the duck lover, the catchphrase king. It's Jason Cundy.
Has anyone seen Jurgen Klopp?
Straight for it. Huge show begins, of course, with your calls on tonight's game from the London Stadium that saw a brilliant performance from West Ham come back from a goal behind in a game that sees Liverpool drop another 2 points. That's 4 points dropped in the last 2 games. Cracks starting to appear. And West Ham fans, you've got to be happy with that performance tonight. 08717 223344. And Everton fans and football fans, would you happily lose to City on Wednesday if it stops Liverpool winning the title? 08717 223344. Lots to talk about. As always, one number to dial. Get involved. Have your say live on National Radio. 08717 223344. Good evening, everyone. Good to be back. Good to be back. Oh, what a big... Fun boy, good to see you. We'll start with the game at the London Stadium.
Yeah.
welcome back.
We haven't worked together for over a week now. What a great show to come back to.
Yes.
Lots to talk about. Yeah, So West Ham won, Liverpool won. Where do we begin? Okay, here's the thing, right? We'll talk about the game, obviously, but I'll start with this. I mentioned in the opening that Liverpool dropped 4 points in the last 2. The last 5 games, Liverpool have had on offer 15 points. They've got 8 points from those. They've dropped 7 points in the last 5 games. They dropped 2 more tonight. They dropped 2, of course, in their last game as well. You saw at the end Jurgen Klopp having a pop at the officials, even though the Liverpool goal shouldn't have even stood. James Milner was offside. What's happening at the moment to Liverpool? Because they could have lost tonight. I thought West Ham played brilliant and had loads of chances to score.
Yeah, they got lucky, Liverpool. The goal's offside. These things happen. I think it just goes to show how difficult a title this is to win. Now, Liverpool are still in the box seat. It'd rather be in Liverpool's position right now than Manchester City's. But it goes to show that no one is going to give you this title. Liverpool are going to have to win it. And if they win it, you have to say fair play, because this is one of the toughest I mean, arguably the toughest. On a bad run of form, so nothing is going to be given at all in this competition. In terms of what Liverpool have been through last 2 games, and they've not played well. If you go back to Crystal Palace, they conceded 3 goals at home. First time they've done that this season, and it just again proves the point that a side like Crystal Palace, who had perhaps 1 or 2 different results, would be staring relegation in the face. I think they'll be okay. But this is one of those times. I think Sir Alex labelled it squeaky bum time. You know, when you've got to pick up points, and they could have gone 7 points clear a week ago. They're now 3 points clear, which is a massive difference. And when Man City had lost away at Newcastle, Liverpool now are looking at that situation, thinking we can get our hand, strangle Man City here. Can we really drive this home? Can we really make sure we take advantage? And they've not been able to do that in the last 2 games, and the picture has changed dramatically. Man City can and will go top if they beat Everton on Wednesday night. And even though they've got a game in hand, all of a sudden you start talking about, I'd rather have the points in the bag than the games to play, which is an element of, definitely. So now we've got a title race on our hands, and I felt that Liverpool would stretch their lead, and I felt that they would go on. When you looked at the 2 games, Leicester at home and West Ham away, I felt there were 6 points definitely there for them to take. But these things happen in the title race, and Liverpool now are going to have to dig in, as are Manchester City, as are Spurs. I mean, people don't talk about Spurs. I know our producer Pat there is an Arsenal fan saying they're not in the title race. Well, they are. Do I think they'll win it? No. But are they in the title race? Absolutely.
5 points, by the way, the gap between Tottenham and Liverpool at the moment.
Well, you go back for the same measure. If you're talking about Manchester City closing that gap on Liverpool, so have Spurs. Spurs' record without Harry Kane has been absolutely superb. I know they've gone out of 2 cup competitions. Will they care? No, they won't. They're fighting for a title again. I think this is the 3rd year out of 4 or something like that, where they're actually genuinely in the title race. I don't think they'll win it, but they're absolutely in this. Make no mistake about that.
What did you make of Jurgen Klopp at the end having a pop at the official? What did that tell you?
I'd love to know what he's having a pop about, because they got lucky tonight, Liverpool. They got lucky. Now, West Ham were outstanding. Let's have this conversation now, because we're often guilty of it. We're talking about the bigger club and about what they're going for. West Ham, Noble and Rice in the middle of the park were absolutely outstanding.
No, I couldn't agree more.
Honestly.
Rice was fantastic. Towards the end of the game, maybe last 10 he got slightly tired.
Oh, yeah, and understandably.
Yes, of course, he was everywhere
They
tonight.
were
I agree
immense,
with
West Ham. I mean, that was...
You're not his biggest fan, though.
No, I'm just saying, I feel... And I've stood by this all season. I'm not sure he's the man to take West Ham where they want to be ultimately. Now, I may be proved right, maybe proved wrong, but tonight they were unbelievable. West Ham. They come up against Liverpool. Come up against a wall, and they were absolutely.
And he wasn't flagged.
He wasn't flagged. Which
So it would have counted.
Well,
that's a golden opportunity. That is.
We can only assume that the linesman has seen it. We don't know for sure because the goal didn't go in. Maybe he's seen the goalkeeper gather it, therefore he doesn't have to put his flag up. I don't know. We don't have to talk about that because it's no longer a problem. But fair play at West Ham.
Win, as you quite rightly said, would put Man City above Liverpool.
Correct,
Obviously, they would have the game in hand. Do you think there's an Everton fan on the planet that wants anything but a Man City win?
Anything but?
I imagine that all Everton fans, they can't win the league. They're not going to go down. I imagine that every Everton fan doesn't want Liverpool to win the title. So they'd all be happy with defeat, wouldn't they?
I think there's a huge amount of Everton fans out there.
All of them.
They may not all want to come on here and admit it.
No. Hold on. There won't be one Everton fan that phones up tonight, or any night for that matter, and says, "I'd be happy if we beat City." Not one.
Yeah, but if they beat City on Wednesday night, the Everton fans will be cheering. So
no, they won't. Of course they won't.
The ones in the ground will be.
No, they won't.
You think they'll be going? Oh God!
Yeah,
can't believe we've believe we've won.
Can't believe we've given Liverpool without a doubt.
Gutted.
I'd be
there will
stunned.
definitely be Everton fans out there listening to this and going to the game on Wednesday that will happily take a defeat so that Liverpool they can catch Liverpool. I don't doubt that for a second.
Everton,
not all, but some.
Everton fans, you can have your say. 0871722.
Yeah.
You're 3 points clear still.
3 points clear. If they win on Wednesday, goal difference, they're back on top.
Yeah.
We've let the league go away. I've got a bad feeling. We just got to hope that Man City slip up. Just finish the game, mate. But I don't think we're going to win it. At the moment, that's my feeling right now.
Well, I mean, you have dropped some points of late, and it goes back to the Man City game, and that was absolutely crucial for the title race. And since then, I mean, let's take the FA Cup.
Still got a few games to go. The season's not over yet. We've still got our defenders to come back. We've got Gomez to come back. You know, we've got.
Jason, let me ask you a question about that. Right? Do you think Klein going to Bournemouth's a mistake? You've got Trent injured. You've got Gomez injured.
Looking at it now, yeah, it is a mistake because, like, you know, obviously we've got players out, but obviously.
Inverted midfielder has played for you at right back. Why is he playing Milner and Henderson at fullback? I don't get that.
I have no idea, mate. No idea.
It's very bizarre. Jay, thanks for your call. Just quickly on that, Jay. Mistake selling Klein? Let him go to Bournemouth?
I think he's out. Is he out? Is he sold? He went on a permanent. He's sold on a permanent, so he can play against Liverpool next game as well. Well, it always looks like a mistake afterwards, doesn't it? When you know. Was he going to be playing the vast majority of this season? And sometimes you've got to make a decision best for the player. No one knows what's going to happen. No one knows how injuries are going to take place.
He's on loan, is he? He's on loan. Okay, so he can't play.
So he can't play. I thought he was on loan. So, looking back, yeah, maybe it is a mistake. Looking back now,
it is.
But at the time.
If you're pushing for a title, part of being a great manager is making everyone feel as though they belong.
That's a club decision as well, not just the manager. That would have been a club decision. He can't just say who comes and goes. There has to be a meeting between the
but make him feel loved, make him feel part of it. You got Champions League, you got, in theory at the time, you got FA Cup, you're pushing for the title. Why do you want to sell good players? Why do you want to weaken the squad? Very bizarre. 08717 223344. Liverpool fans. We just had one Liverpool fan saying they've blown it. They're still top of the league.
It's not quite there yet.
They're not. Of course, not yet.
We're nowhere near that kind of level.
Is that panic button? I wouldn't say be impressed, but is it?
Well, I'll tell you what. Klopp afterwards. That's interesting. Klopp's reaction, because he's been laughing. You see plenty of teeth, you see plenty of beard, you see plenty of glasses, and plenty. Well, you do. You know. So it's easy when things are going well. It's easy to come out and front up against the press and give it all that. I don't know what he's moaning at because they got lucky, Liverpool, tonight. They got lucky.
08717 22 3344. Lots to talk about. One number to dial.
In sport, anything can happen. The prospect of crushing defeat can turn to glorious victory in the blink of an eye, which means one.
On, meaning you can get genuine savings against Auto Trader market values on every clearance car with over 500,000. You're never far from an Imperial car. Imperialcars.co.uk.
Imagine a woman in a warehouse, packing boxes day after day. You might see a lack of ambition, but we see patience and precision. And there are troops on aid missions that need that right now. Your army needs you. Find where you belong. Sedge Army Jobs.
Whetstone Wolf here. And there goes another new kid with his shiny new van. You'd bet that chump's the only one getting the special treatment. Well, that's where you're wrong, wise guy. With Direct Line, tradesmen can get 10% off their van insurance when they already have tradesman cover, whether they're new to the game like Hot Wheels over there or a loyal customer, like you.